And we're live. Whee! Hello, welcome to the stream. This game is not done. It's just that the offline stuff was recorded and put on YouTube. So if you've missed out on those, it's all on YouTube. I promise.
Yep, and it's all there. You will see it. It will say audio only.
Yes.
And it will not have background music.
I was either busy with a plague or at a con or something. So quite a few sessions are actually on YouTube. But yeah, I just realized this is the longest ongoing campaign I've ever been in. So there's that.
Before we get started, I see you, Six. I see you. Nonetheless,
I love the way you just flirt with each other in my stream. It's
fine. Hey, me just acknowledging that a person exists is not flirting, at least as far as I know. But nonetheless, are we doing like introductions? We just jumping in, doing the recap.
I think we can just jump in. I mean, I'll have all our tags and stuff on YouTube, so.
Yeah, you can see the tags on YouTube. If you want to go follow some of us on social media and not follow some of us on social media.
Because we don't exist on social media.
You can find that in the description on the YouTube videos. But for now, let's hop back in. We got all the players here. So I'm super sad that you don't have Fang's character art up that I so
oh no we're not. No, I need like better Fang art. Like either I commission someone or I do it myself. Because
but nonetheless, we're
the
back.
Energy is the same.
Where's the Fang art? Let's see it.
The energy is the same.
I want to see it.
The energy is the same.
You've seen the fan art.
You've seen it.
It's the little sketch. This guy.
It's the little circle and triangle.
Oh yeah, I like it. Put it up.
I think it's accurate.
Fine.
It works. For now.
For now, I really want Fang art. I want actual Fang art. Okay, this upsets me.
Still figuring it out.
I will commission somebody. It will happen.
Last time on Healing Rifts, there was like some apples and a bathroom, and that's about so. No, it was a lot of standoff, a lot of complication after Nhudrel had discovered where Fang was 2 sessions ago, and got kind of untangled Fang from being locked away. There was some drama up toward the top of the tower between Stone and Nhudrel and the council person and Fang, and then Fang managed to escape through the bathroom and kind of climb down the tower because they have a climb speed, so it's very easy for them to go these excellent vertical spaces, leaving Nhudrel alone in the top floor, while Hicks on the bottom floor was constantly negotiating with different administrators and people from the tower, the Conjuration Tower, the Crest Arcana of the Synod, negotiating terms, getting magic items that were that have been tagged from the Feywild, delivered to them, distracting Stone from where they are. All well, Fang and Yuri, after a conversation in a nice little, magically influenced apple tree, snuck themselves off to the Tower of Necromancy, which definitely is not currently occupied by a Spirit Halloween store, but is very gothy and Castlevania and Hot Topic-y. It's exactly what you would expect to be a Necromancer's Tower. Lots of like dim purple and red red lights and red colors and everything. Lots of people in dark cloaks, very haunted looking, skeletons walking about, and also the nicest and kindest and most welcoming people that they've met so far. A bunch of people very excited to receive snacks from Fang, and eventually Fang discovers that the spectral tomato wand, that the skeletons can actually eat those spectral tomatoes. They were very excited about that. And that led, of course, to to the next inevitable step, which is pranking Hicks, as he also approached that tower. And they made it all dark, and Yuri went on the pipe organ, and then the skeletons danced, and it was a very tense moment. Maybe not the best time for it, but it worked. And of course, the leader of the tower, the council person, the doctor, whose name I will remember when I go back to that section of my notes. The doctor of the necromancy tower, Himrin, Myron Himrin. He prefers to just be called Myron. A ghostwise halfling man. That's arguably gregarious and friendly. Sort of has a discussion with that and learns sort of through Yuri what the rest of the tower is doing. Yuri reveals that they are in fact the Fey wild creature that's supposed to help them with the burning of the rift. And reveals kind of more details. There's more of a discussion about what the channeling device is, how it's been used historically or not used historically, and what the plan is. And it is discovered that underneath the necromancy tower, because it's the necromancy tower, of course, there are several sub-levels, basement levels and crypts and all kinds of things like that. But there's a path to the actual physical channeling device. And they may be able to do something about that. And possibly undo what the group suspects, and especially Yuri suspects, is having the Queen of Shadows probe around this Crest Arcana area through this rift. But nonetheless, the last we left off on is that Nhudrel is still in the Conjuration Tower, still on the 10th floor, still with the council person. The rest of the group is arguably safely in the Necromancy Tower, at least for now, as far as they know. And we are going to start, actually, at the Conjuration Tower with councilperson Meredith at the top of the tower. In their offices, Nhudrel's there, as well as several administrators. Councilperson Meredith returned to the top of the tower, or returned to their offices, while Stone continues their search for wherever Fang went elsewhere in the Conjuration Tower. Nhudrel. There are about 5 sort of administrators, interns, office workers here in the Conjuration Tower, are in this office alongside councilperson Meredith, who is currently going over details, like looking over and writing notes on details on the channeling device and the great magical weapon that's going to, in theory, what their goal is to sear the rift closed, almost cauterizing it like a wound, is their goal. And everything. You know that Fang and Fang and Yuri and Hicks are over in the Necromancy Tower. They are all out, and they feel like you should get out. And if I recall correctly, you also feel like you should probably get the fuck out, based off of the events that have happened here. Nobody's really in conversation in this exact moment, as far as amongst the Conjuration Tower denizens. But you are sort of here in a sort of passive aggressive, uncomfortable, we're waiting for your friends and you're sitting here with us, a sort of situation. Give me a perception check. Or insight, if that's better for you.
I mean, wait, what is my insight? No, no, they're both pretty low. That's a 5.
A solid 5. Strong 5. The vibe is uncomfortable. Because you very much know that your companions have no real intent of coming back here. And so I think the order of the day is Nhudrel. How do you try to get out of the conjuration tower.
I'm going to assume he was like, he wouldn't have been comfortable enough to be sitting down, so he was probably leaning up against the tower wall somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
somewhere in the offices.
Yeah, just arms crossed, awkwardly standing there, like, I totally belong here. And then he's just gonna clear his throat and be like, so, remind me where the bathrooms are again?
With the natural one that was rolled last time for the sort of luck check on how convenient this would be, Stone, as you say that, walks in. Nobody is going to the bathroom again, like your friend. And Stone appears with two much more significant, much more meaningfully intent attaches, if you will, people beside her, and just immediately doesn't check for interruptions and everything. Meredith kind of like looks up a little bit confused because Meredith doesn't really know what's going on with this. And Stone just like straight eye contact up to you from across the room. Nhudrel.
I meet it.
Where is Fang?
She was with you.
And we took her to the bathroom, and then she left the bathroom, and she left me an apology note. Where is Fang?
I wouldn't have the foggiest. Wait, is there still a circle of truth?
No. Zone of Truth
I have not the foggiest.
Because you do know and have the foggiest, I need a deception check from you.
Which I'm terrible at. Please.
It's a goddamn Jack.
Oh my god.
I mean, it tracks.
It's gonna become part of the furniture.
It tracks. Nhudrel is an idiot when it comes to things like this, so.
Fang, or Stone grimly, kind of grimly stares at you. You know that Stone knows that you're lying, but in this moment, she doesn't choose to follow up on it. Mostly because Meredith cuts and interrupts. I don't care about the giant woman. I care about your fairy friend and getting them back here. Now, the grumpy one has been exceedingly irritating to deal with. But if we don't find someone to attune that's connected enough to the realm we need to fire this around so that we can seal this rift or wherever this rift is coming from, we're just going to be shooting blind. Do you know where your friend is, your fairy friend? Or any way we can convince your grumpy friend to finally go get them?
I will honestly say it will be very hard to convince the Hicks to do anything.
Yeah, I'm getting that. It's great that they're so
You're not
very
my mom.
stoic.
You're not my mom?
We love a person that decides to be stubborn. We love stubborn people during an emergency. It's really helpful.
Sorry, that wasn't Nhudrel. That was me. Here's an offer. I can go try find them. But they might not take too well if I am guarded. And Nhudrel's just gonna look at the two extra people that Stone had brought into the room.
Meredith is like, okay, I know that you're all very. I don't even know how to describe it. I need an honest answer from you. I need you to look me in the eyes and tell me, are you genuinely going to help us, or am I wasting my time?
He doesn't say anything for like a second. I may not agree with some things that you do and some of the ways you view people, but I do genuinely not want any more people to be hurt.
Let me rephrase. Our current plan of action, and mine, which I told your other friend, Hicks, I believe you said, was to get your friend to this raw divining device that will help them sort of see through the storm and be a kind of targeting device for our channeling, for lack of a better term, arcane beam. That is all I want to do. And then you can go wander off elsewise. That is the plan that I have. Are you going to, if I send you out to find them, are you going to try to help me or help us convince them that that is a plan? I'm not even asking if you're going to be successful. I'm just seeing if you're going to earnestly do it. Because if you're not, then I'm going to kick you out of this tower and ban you from the Crest Arcana. If you are going to help us, I will allow you to do that, and you won't be surrounded by conjuration tower agents or anything like that. And give me a perception check when Meredith says that.
Great, because I'm so good at those. Wow, really? Really? That's
okay. But yeah,
that was a 7, by the way.
but yeah, I see that 7.
I was telling chat.
Yeah, chat, that was a 7. Nhudrel's been on fire so much.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I need to honestly know, are you going to at least discuss that plan with them?
I'll definitely talk to them about it. I can't promise that they will go for it.
That's 100. I don't expect that. All right, I'm gonna send you out. Send you out, and then without looking at them, without looking away from you, Nhudrel, they point in the direction of Stone. Stone, I don't care what your relationship is with one of these people, and they're not breaking eye contact with Nhudrel. They're just addressing Stone. Stone, you are not to interfere with this. If you want to find your friend or whatever, cousin, whatever, afterward, you can do that. But right now, we're about getting this job done. Also, just a recommendation: if you run into any of the other council people from the towers, try to not run into any of the other council people. If you could, it would probably be bad for you and your friends.
You did mention you were the kinder of the 8. Or the more agreeable.
I personally think I'm one of the more reasonable people that you could be dealing with.
Are there a few that are also on the agreeable side?
Yes, there are people that I would more happily coordinate with amongst the tower. There are other council people that tend to be more responsive to conversation and good logical conclusions about what's best. And then there are people that will simply try to I'm not going to mince words about it. If they find your friend, they're going to keep him.
That was the general feeling I was getting.
Yeah. So, in my opinion, the best thing that can happen is we get the target, we use the channeling device, and before it's even done, you and your friends are nowhere to be found anymore. At least in the Crest Arcana.
Okay. Well, I suppose then that's my cue to go look for my friends.
Do you suspect they're still in the building?
Gonna...
In fact, I know for a fact your Hicks and your other friend are not. The fairy and the other friend are not. Do you suspect that any of your group is still in the building?
Gonna casually look at Stone. No. There. Have solid reason to keep them away from this building.
Now, Meredith turns to Stone. You hear that? You're not going outside of the Conjuration Tower to other places on the Crest Arcana. We're not going to have that problem. So, chill. And Stone doesn't say anything, just turns and walks away. And Meredith is like, go find your friends. Send me a message when you find them. So let me know what the result is. I'll work on plan B through F on if you can't convince them to do this.
Nhudrel, hesitates for a moment, and then he goes... If there is anything else that I could possibly help with, I am still willing to help. I know you mean well.
Meredith just looks up. You seem like a perfectly friendly and affable person normally. And in another situation, I would gladly talk to you about where you're from and your people and how you interface with certain types of magic. I mean this with all cold, factual understanding. You aren't in a weight class to help with this directly. I appreciate your review and your review of that. You've already helped. You helping with your friends is helping. But when it comes to the kind of magic, the kind of solutions that we're banding about, this is not a judgment. It's just the facts on the table. You're a fry cook asking to help at or asking to help at a in an alchemist's laboratory right now.
Nhudrel, opens
Perhaps-
his mouth to
Yeah,
say
go on.
something, and then changes his mind and says nothing.
And it's like, thank you for cooperating. I hope to hear from you soon so that we can solve this problem finally. Also, if you could prevent me from having to talk with Hicks, I would appreciate it.
He does crackle off at that. And then pretends he didn't laugh. I will do my best.
All right. Meredith just goes back to her papers, starts pulling some other books off the wall. The administrators that have been hanging around separately from Stone, because the two with Stone left with Stone, the other administrators, a couple of them go and immediately run some sort of errand for Meredith, and the others sort of dissipate. So you are left to walk out of this building right now, or walk out of this office.
I leave.
I'm gonna need one last perception check, but with disadvantage this time.
Sure. Oh, a 10.
Weirdly enough, that's still the highest that you've
That
rolled
is
so far.
absolutely the highest that I've rolled so far.
As you go down the stairs, you pass through the various rooms, or pass by the various floors with the like archives of magical items, both cursed and dangerous, as well as more innocuous. You pass by the kitchens. You go, kind of quickly by the floor that Fang was locked up on, and down to the administrative offices and out the door. You are now outside of the Tower of Conjuration. Outside of the Conjuration, and Nhudrel, that your friends are in the Necromantic Tower. Necromantic Tower. Necromantic. Romantic, but dark.
I would like to double check that I'm not being watched.
Give me instead, because you've been failing so much at perception checks, we're going to let that part ride. Give me a insight check or a wisdom saving throw. I don't know if either is particularly worthy for you, but
The insight is better than was.
Okay, so give me an insight check.
Hey, a dirty 20. Look at that.
That's actually quite good.
Oh my god.
You finally,
the stress,
something.
The stress.
Like, biting my nails over here.
I know I'm missing
Nhudrel?
something. Mm-hmm.
Nhudrel, you can't see that anyone's watching you. You are 100% certain that they are tracking, monitoring you. With an insight of dirty 20, I think you would suspect that they're watching you. You don't know exactly to what degree that entails as far as the intent beyond watching you. It would make sense for them to watch you anyway, non-innocuously. You are an agent that Meredith would like to make something happen. So that would make sense. You don't know if Stone is watching you. You do know that these towers seemed very insular, and that Meredith chided Stone at the idea of even going to another tower. So you do suspect that if you go into another tower, that that kind of tracking. But as long as you're either in the Conjuration Tower or outside of it in the broader Crest Arcana, you're probably being watched, if not followed.
But I don't see actual people.
You cannot see. I've given you lots of perception checks and you failed.
This is true.
So
I am well, I know that the three of them are together now, yeah?
Yeah, you know that they're all together in the Necromancy Tower.
I'm going to attempt to cast message again. I'm just abusing this thing.
You do. You succeed. That's what it's for.
Hicks, can you hear me?
Yes. Are you out of that tower?
This motherfucker. Just yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I swear, if you had just left at yes, I'm just gonna switch and start talking to Yuri. I am outside of the tower, but I have a very strong feeling I am still being tracked, watched, followed. If I go to the Necromancy Tower, they will know.
Oh. Give me a moment to discuss it with the others, and then you can do whatever this is again. Message me again.
Okay.
He's saying, wait outside
Yeah,
while I fix your fuck up.
He's basically, I don't know if you guys have ever seen Supernatural. It's that one scene where Castiel hangs up the phone. He's like, okay, I will just stand here then.
Right,
just
just stay out there while I
Just-
fix this, make a plan. At which he's then immediately going to turn to, I think Yuri had sat next to him. I don't know how far
Yeah,
Fang is. Fang's still close by though, isn't she? Isn't she just like on a
Yeah,
couch
Fang,
over?
Yuri, you're all near each other.
Yeah. I mean, Yuri wanted to do something as I messaged DM anyway, and Yuri just go, "Oh, okay. Well, I actually wanted to handle that. Just give me a moment." And he'd be like, "Just tell Nhudrel to aimlessly wander for a little bit."
No, he's literally just standing right outside the
Meanwhile-
door, just.
And then
Right
Yuri
outside
will
the
go
conference tower. Yeah,
over
meanwhile, Myron and the rest of you are in the kind of like main floor of the necromancy tower where you were. Currently, like if you're having beverages, there's skeletons that are like serving like beverages and everything. Everybody's very happily eating.
So we'll not be
Fang
touching
snacks.
a single thing.
Yeah.
What could possibly
Um,
go wrong? It's
So
fine.
what's up here? Even though I know what's up, Yuri.
Oh, right. Well, granted, there are famously two schools of necromancy, magic that are quite misunderstood. What is the illusionist like?
Myron gets a big smile on his face. Oh, Myron gets a big smile. Oh, you're curious. That makes sense. That makes sense. Of course, you'd be curious about that. I'm just gonna say it. The illusionist is a total gas, completely useless in statecraft. Absolutely doesn't manage
Great,
anything.
we need that.
Wonderful. A very wonderful person.
Okay, so Yuri's gonna ponder for a moment. How would we recruit him to this course?
Well, you'd have to go to the illusionist tower, and then there's like some. All right, not everyone thinks that they're fun. I think that they're fun. It's a challenge to get to like pin them down as a person. I don't know that we all refer to them as the illusionist. None of us have ever actually seen their like real form. Maybe we have. We have no idea. They love being objects and then putting like eyes and mouths on them. It's very fun.
They would like my
they're-
grandmother.
Yeah, they're very fun. They never speak directly about anything, and they're constantly filled with riddles, and they love to play games with people. But overall, they're not. I don't think it's malicious. I think they're bored, and this is how they can like keep themselves engaged in the world. But yeah,
In the nicest way, you're talking to someone who has a culture founded on being bored. So,
yes, any long-lived creatures, I think, would understand why this is perfectly normal behavior. I mean, take what we did to Hicks, ramp it way up. That's their vibe.
Okay. Do
You
you
can
not
let out a
have,
really soft little sigh at that.
do you not have channels?
You mean communication channels?
Mm-hmm. That's what I
I
heard
mean,
from you guys.
I can ring them up, if you will. I can ring them up. My concern is this: if you were to ask me what I felt was important to the illusionist, I'd have no idea. If you were to ask me if they would bother responding to me in any given moment, that's not really how they work as a person or an entity or whatever they are. But I will say that if they know that you're around, because we were all on the sort of the sort of meeting with that, they know that you're around. Would you be comfortable talking to them or letting them know that you're here?
Oh, yeah, I was going to offer to do the talking myself. I was going to say, open the channel
excellent.
and let me talk.
Oh, well then
And what if all the
yeah,
other wizards come here?
Hicks, please, trust me. Right, let's proceed.
More than happy to. They
It's just a
kind
channel
of
with this guy, right? It's
yeah. We're not
anyone, yeah.
we're not getting anyone else involved. Myron just sort of goes, all right, I'd have to communicate with them up in the office. Are you comfortable going up a couple stories? Okay.
If I will follow you up in 2 seconds. I'm just going to explain to group what I'm doing.
Oh, of course.
They think I wander off aimlessly, but it's not aimless.
Hicks is gonna go
Anyway.
with Yuri. He's not leaving this little fucker go away again.
Fang
No,
also
hey,
follows.
could you at least wait outside the door? This needs to be illusionist to illusionist.
Well, if they grab you, then it's your funeral.
It's an illusion. This is the communications. They can. It's fine. But I think I know how to handle this.
Standing too far away to hear your kind of quiet conversation amongst them, Myron just chimes in as you realize that his skeletons are scattered about everywhere. And Myron just chimes in, I can promise that as long as you remain within the halls of the Necromancy Tower, you are under my protection. There's no one, even the illusionist, that would decide to just get into a direct conflict with another tower. That's just not smart. That's not smart survivability tactics.
And what
So
about
if you're
6 other wizards versus you? Are you
If
that
you could
confident?
manage to get, if you could manage to get even 4 of them to agree on the consistent and correct action and agree to split the spoils, then you know what? I will gladly eat my hat and die on that. Quite literally die on that hill. It won't be 6 of them. They never would work together that well.
Well, better get a move on, because who knows if Nhudrel's going to be start to look suspicious just standing there.
He
love
probably
that
looks
Hicks-
like a lost puppy.
I love that Hicks knows exactly that Nhudrel's just gonna literally
Oh, he
stand
knows how
there.
awkward Nhudrel is. He's the most obvious thing in the world.
Starts looking at a tree.
Considers the tiles of the wall. Looks at the weeds growing and the footsteps.
But if Yuri goes up with the
Groundskeepers have a big
necromancer guy,
gift for
then Hicks is just going to kind of like hang close to Fang to make sure she also doesn't run off somewhere. It's like, I've lost one. One's outside. You're not going anyway.
That leash meme of 2 people running in the opposite
No.
direction and Hicks is like hanging on in the middle.
Hicks is the one that's trying to herd cats. That's what it is.
And so Myron starts heading up toward the office. Nhudrel, do you re-ping Hicks? Do you re-message Hicks? It's been several minutes.
Get it's almost like a sensation of a knock. It was like that sort of creeping entry into the peripherals of your mind. Hicks? Did you have a talk with our companions?
It's Yuri. I have no idea what he's doing.
Is Yuri not with you?
He's in the building.
Oh.
Follow the wander.
Just try not look suspicious.
Try not look
He's-
suspicious.
Talking to some illusionary wizard. I have no idea what's going on. I'm just trying to keep all 3 of you from not dying.
I thought you were in the necromancy tower.
That's greatly appreciated.
Fang.
Wait, is Hicks saying this all out loud?
Whispering.
He's messaging.
Oh,
Or
you are
message.
whispering. Message. You
If
have
you're
to whisper.
messaging
This is
it,
true.
you have to whisper it.
This is true.
Yeah. But like him and Fang are right next to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I'm Fang here.
Hi, Nhudrel.
Neutral can't hear you. Okay. So should I come to the necromancy tower or the illusionary tower? Or...
If you think you're being watched or followed, don't come anywhere. Stay by a tree or a bench or I don't know. Don't look suspicious. I'm assuming Yuri is going to talk to this illusionary wizard, and by somehow we're going to use those illusions to get you inside this tower.
I see. I will
Read your book.
be pure.
Oh yeah, you got a book to study.
Yeah. he ends the call and it's a lot like I don't know how to end this call, so I'm just gonna stop talking. And he does. He just stands right at the doorway of the tower with his big book. But at least he's a lot more comfortable now he's doing something, not just standing there.
Just looking at something. No. Yeah. I want to. I'm looking at something for necromancy. Give me a moment.
No stress.
I'm stressed.
I'm stressed.
I'm stressed.
you're
I've got 3 people in 3 different places.
Yeah. So, Myron heads up toward his offices. It's again, it's a lot different in here than it is in the Conjuration Tower, where it's like 10 floors and it's very like organized. It's again, the stairwell's just sort of like on the outer interior edge of the tower, and you just walk up it for about 30 feet, and then there's like a hatch in the ceiling, and he pushes the hatch up to what, when you, in brief passing, Yuri discovers what they refer to as the laboratory, and it is unsettling if you aren't already prepared for there to be a bunch of like dead and undead things there. There's jars and, you know, like organs and stuff like that. And again, we're still sticking with the whole candelabras, giant a kind of gothic motif, but it's a little bit brighter in here. There's tables scattered about with different like alchemical supplies, as well as different like magical catalogs, concoctions, and things like that. There's some random scatterings and collections of religious symbols and things, but like Myron pays literally no mind to it and is just kind of casually talking. It's like, so again, if you're looking for it, they usually answer to the illusionist. I have no idea what they're going to look like. We may, or how they're going to respond. Would you like me? You mentioned that you wanted to speak illusionist to illusionist. Would you like me to get it going and then exit the room? I'm more
No,
so
think
that you can have your privacy.
No, you can stay. Purely because it's probably good to have someone off. I'm trying to think of the word. Basically being like, not because I could be fake as fuck. I hit someone at least to be like, yes, that's the real deal.
You want somebody to vouch for you? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
No problem at all. I gotta figure out some better mode of transportation. I don't know where it was required that wizards' towers be towers with tons of stairs. I am literally half the size of most of my companions, and this is exhausting. I feel like my tower is twice as tall as everyone else's. I apologize for the
Have you
sojourn
considered
we
making the
have to take.
tower twice as small?
So I did think of having like a lower tower, but when I started doing redesigns and revamps, you've got to get approval from the rest of the synod, the Octatic Synod, to make any modifications to any one of the towers. They're very worried about appearances here, right? So they want each of the towers to have like this looming, a cohesion that is, though not from the illusionist, the biggest lie that the synod has ever experienced is the idea that the 8 of us are some sort of coordinated group of wizards managing the country instead of a bunch of people like vying for power. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you're familiar with how politicians work. I'm sure I imagine that no matter where you go and what realm you're from, politics is always a problem.
I mean, most of the court members and the leaders of the different regions have been legions for time eternal, so not really. You know,
so
if you
they all get
disrespect
along.
them, you will just be turned into a plant.
Yeah, see,
So,
that's the problem. We can't have
but
that. We can all turn each other into stuff. So we gotta like work on a
yeah,
system
but we
that
can
like
all turn each other into
operates.
stuff. But a
Yeah,
fae's
that's true.
word is his very essence. A fae does not lie.
Ah,
A fae may trick, but they do not lie.
see, that's we lie all the time. Um, and with that
Is he lying
certainly
right now?
confidence endearing thing
How would
that
he
he
be?
says casually, he just pushes up the door into his office. His office is literally like exactly. You can see off in the kind of the far side of it. There's like a bed with like a canopy over it and drapes and everything like that. There's a giant fire hearth and stuff. This is not anything to be surprising aesthetically. And he goes up to something that you recognize from your brief time in Meredith's office, which is sort of this kind of dark, kind of globe-like thing set in sort of a circular wood mount that is their sort of broader communication system. And Myron walks up to it and it's like, all right, you ready for us to, again, I can't even guarantee they're going to respond, but you ready?
Mm-hmm.
You see Myron do some almost low level, like on the level of message or telepathy or sending, like very not high level spell over it, and then the device itself enhances it and draws it, and it's like, all right, lines open to the illusionist. Oh, I never know how to start one of these things.
Are you trying to get his
Illusionist.
attention?
Yeah, illusionist.
Okay, okay.
It's
Let me
Myron.
try this.
Okay, you
He'll
go.
just kind of, and he'll just walk over and he'll kind of ponder for a moment and he'll just go, "To all things and men I appertain, and yet by some am shunned and disdained. Fondle me and ogle me till you're insane, but no blow can harm me, or cause me pain. Children delight in me, elders take fright, fair maids rejoice and spin, cry and weep, yawn and I sleep, smile, and too shall I grin. Now tell me, dear illusionist, who or what am I?"
Uh,
Want me to send it to you, DM?
yes, please send it to me. So that I can see if I can figure this riddle out myself. There we go.
Wait. Can I hear it again? It's just
Yeah, you can repeat it while I noodle on it.
I
Right
put it
now.
in chat. I put it in the chat. Okay.
To all things and men I appertain, and yet by some am shunned and disdained. Fondle me and ogle me till you're insane. But no blow can harm me, cause me pain. Children delight in me, elders take fright. Fair maids rejoice and spin. Cry and I weep, yawn and I sleep, smile and I too shall grin. What am I? This is where all of my time, never doing riddles or puzzles of any shape or form, really comes into play. I'm one of those players that you can hand a first grader riddle, and I just sit on it.
Sari, did you come up with this yourself?
No, I'm dumb as fuck.
Oh, I was like, what?
No, I have like a load of like resources for Yuri. I've slowly gathered like Shakespearean references and shit like that. Because, you know, that's basically where Faye stuff's from.
It's really cool. That's really cool.
Also,
I've
if you
never.
can't figure it out, you need to go ahead with it. If you can't figure it out.
Give me a moment.
Steve's like, okay, but now I want to know.
Hold on. I got this. Okay. Okay, we're gonna go with so I'm gonna do this like an engineer. The parts that I can identify easily in contradictions are children versus elders, and fair maids and how they respond to this. Crying, I weep, yawn, and I sleep.
I love that you're like, this is what we do now.
That one's not okay. So children. So what do children like, but elders don't like? But fair maids rejoice and spin. The illusionist takes some time to respond. You can tell that the message is going over there. You can quietly hear Yuri, Myron, muttering to himself, like, children, elders take fright. And Myron's can't, he's like, you can literally hear him being like, it can't be death. It can't. I always guess death in these things, or like something like that.
Children
Confirmation.
smiling at death, like,
It doesn't make any sense, but I wanted everything. I always want the answer to be some sort of great thing. So it's too many years in the necromancy field.
Everything is death.
No
Confondle
blood
death.
can harm.
Wait, you know what? I'm gonna
The
post it
illusionist in the thing.
Yeah.
Wait for Steve to respond before you post an answer.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I mean, it's for the chat to kiss if they want to.
Yeah, the actual text of it in the chat or in the Twitch chat. So eventually you do see an image begin to appear, and the image that appears is a painting, and the painting that appears is a painting of you, Yuri, like a portrait, but you're done up like a it's a very like Henry VIII Tudor kind of aesthetic. And then obviously different eyes and a different mouth appear on the painting and open them up, and they're like, are you a portrait? Is that
Not quite, no. No.
Are you a portrait?
It's okay.
Are you a selfie?
Are you a portrait?
You were close, dear. It's quite alright.
Oh well.
Put on the spot.
Yeah, I was taking a bath or eating breakfast or some other excuse.
Yuri starts to giggle and then just goes, okay, this illusion thing, I respect it, illusionist to illusionist. Is this, are you just a nudist? Is this it?
Oh god.
You just
am I just
not like wearing clothes?
I hate clothes.
Gosh. I've got
but the illusion of clothes is pretty much clothes. Like it's unless I'm cold, then I like a blanket.
Yeah. Anyway, hello.
Hello.
Hi. The answer was your reflection, my dear.
Oh, I was so close. Fuck.
Of course, yeah.
Anyway, well, obviously you've met Myron. He's a delight. What can I assume you've deliberately reached out to me. What can I do for you?
Well, firstly, introductions are on order. If you may not have guessed, I'm the fairy they're seeking. Hello, yes, it's me.
Oh,
Right.
You're so very pretty. Of course you're of course you're the person.
I love your painting. Beautiful.
I mean, it is very stunning.
You're lucky that we're not in the Feywild, because if your illusion is a painting and you've heard a riddle, you probably would have been a painting.
I've heard the rumors. I've read the stories.
My grandmother has some beautiful painting.
Very,
Right.
that's very
Um,
passively threatening of you. This is
Oh
fun.
no,
Thank
no,
you,
no! I
Myron,
don't
for
even.
introducing us.
I don't even know if they're. I don't. You can never tell. You can just never tell.
Well, isn't
Anyway.
that the best trick?
Okay. Well, you want the boring details or the fun details?
Fun details, please.
Okay. How would you feel about trying to make an illusionary scenario to try and trick as many archmages as you can in one go?
I am continuing to listen to you. Say less. Tell me this plan of yours.
You're like, bitch, how the fuck do you want me to say less? Okay, so because he said to say less, Yoruba's gonna then minor illusion, like a little, like, model of, like, the 8 towers. Because he's been told to say less. So he's like, okay, his little illusion of the
wait,
8 towers.
you're a. Explain the plan.
Oh,
You don't need to. I'm very sold on it. I'm very excited for it. Sorry.
oh, okay. So, well, okay, I'm just thinking through my words on how to word this. If you look out the window at any given point, you might see a blue man looking really confused and lost.
You see the painting turns like it's a head looking at something. You don't see what it's looking at. Oh yeah. The very tall, very very handsome looking fellow with the wig outside. Yeah.
From a distance, he sneezes. Also, how fucking dare you, Steve?
He sneezes and his wig falls off.
I hate you all.
And he's like, oh my god, no one saw, thank god.
So Nhudrel goes home.
Yeah, the Vidalcan with the what I assume must be a wig since they don't have hair.
Don't ask me, I don't know. But anyway, the easy part is getting him to join us in the Necromancy Tower without the other towers being aware.
Oh, sure.
That's the easy bit. That's not a
Yeah.
challenge.
Okay.
Now, the hard part is trying to keep the other tower members occupied for roughly, I don't know, a few hours, with making them believe that, I, the Blue Man, and 2 others are not where we are, and constantly deceiving them and making, illusions real enough to make them believe that we are displaced in different locations, potentially even in different towers themselves.
That is challenging. It's certainly. All right. I'm going to ask you a very specific question, and it's going to seem a little weird, but it
That's
will help
okay.
me do this. I like playing tricks on the other. Myron can attest. I love playing tricks on the other mages. Can I look at you and just sort of size you up for about, I don't know, a minute to 10 minutes?
You may not take ownership of my form, but you may use it to distract them for a short period of time.
You mean
You can use my visage to
yeah,
use a
yeah,
distraction,
exactly.
but he's basically revoking ownership of that visage the second the
Yeah.
distraction's done.
Oh, you don't want me to turn into you.
No, I'm
What
saying
if
you
I just
can,
turn it
but for a short period of time.
for a short
You
period?
can't
What
own
if I
that
do it with
after.
like a really like long beard and like a shaved head with tattoos on the scalp? Like if I did like
That would be
afterward, obviously.
amazing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean,
Just
I can give you some eladrin that you can do.
Ooh.
Like my own form. Right.
I get
Okay,
it. You want to be original. I get it.
yeah, there's also it's complicated with Fae. It's like trapped in a mirror. You never know. But right. If you want to do that though, I can illusion it, I guess. Okay. Well, I don't technically have one visage. I have 4. So
What's the one that they most know you as?
okay, they know me
by
as Spring, so that's fine. We can.
Okay. Give me that
Yuri will
one.
just take a stand back, and he will just kind of like stand in a very like poised position, but he would just continue talking. I do naturally, potentially, would seek to offer. Oh my god, my voice. A boon alongside because, well, the other towers would seek to have this Fae trapped for eternity to study after they're done with what they need.
Yeah, that makes
That-
sense.
The tower here. Thank you to the Archmage. Isn't as keen on letting me be trapped. But
I don't see how your entrapment would benefit a necromancer. So yeah, that also makes sense.
what
Unless
might
Myram
benefit
was.
you
Hmm.
is potentially in the future an interchange of information information. There we go. From the domain of illusion magic, and potentially having some
Ah.
of our wizards visit.
That would be a joy. I feel like I'm getting an instinct though. If that happens, it would
Mhm.
probably be in my best interest to be a bit more direct than I normally am with people.
Oh,
Or would they like the games?
no, they
'Cause
would enjoy the tricky. They would make
Okay.
you would, as long as you don't. It's complicated. If this happens, I will give you a guideline.
That would be phenomenal because it would be so embarrassing if like an illusion wizard that's supposed to be the most powerful illusion wizard in the land were to be captured, tricked, or punished for like fooling around. And I don't want to do that.
This is why I do offer to bring them to your domain.
Yeah.
But that will have to be in the distant future, but or
Oh,
close
of course,
future,
of course.
you'd say. But they would be in your domain, and naturally, honestly, if you can manage to beat a Fae at their own game, they are more likely to grant you more boons.
Ooh, very like certainly something that's very interesting. Well, I'd be happy to. First, let's get your blue friend into the necromancy tower. At this moment that this is said, Nhudrel, where you're standing at the conjuration tower, suddenly you're just sort of standing there, like looking at the tile, kind of waiting a little bit longer before you message Hicks again, and then from your body walks an exact illusionary copy of you. So like you literally watch yourself walk out of your own self toward the conjuration, or not conjuration tower, the what tower is it? It's the one that was next to it. Give me a moment. The
It was
elemental tower, whatever
enchantment.
that is. Enchantment.
Oh no,
There we go.
it was evocation. You're right.
Yeah, evocation toward the evocation tower. Another one splits off of you and starts walking toward the abjuration tower. Another one toward another tower. And Nhudrel, you are starting to see copies, illusionary copies of you walking away from you in all directions.
Hicks? He totally does not sound a little panicked.
Yes.
This motherfucker. Hicks. A lot of me just walked out of me. Actually, I suspect that it might have something to do with Yuri.
Oh, good. So that means he's actually done something right. And then he's gonna like turn to like a skeleton and then just like kind of like point towards the door as if like asking them to open it to let Nhudrel in.
Mm-hmm.
Nhudrel is going to pack his book away under his cloak and then try to mirror the way the other Nhudrels are walking towards the necromancy tower.
You notice that all of the other Nhudrels, even though this person knew literally nothing about you, you notice all the other Nhudrels just look a little bit clumsy. And so you just are in your natural state of kind of awkwardly stomping about in your armor as you walk toward the necromancy tower. That you can see in the distance that the necromancy tower's like front doors open. It's pitch black in the doorway. But
Steve,
the
leave my
skeleton
himbo alone.
what Hicks does. I'm sorry. I don't. The muse guides the pen, and And it's not my fault that the muse demands that Nhudrel A, be wearing a wig, and B, be a klutz.
He's not wearing a fucking wig. Okay.
I know. I'm just never going to let up that I believe that he's wearing a wig as the GM.
Steve,
the world thinks he's a wig.
Just as a quick
Yeah.
note, because Yuri did the whole speech yesterday, while the illusionist is just gauging how he looks and taking in his details, it's Yuri fine just to do the whole, look, in reality, unseelie goddess, blah 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 blah. That would be really bad if
Relay
it's not,
that.
because
Yeah,
then devils will start coming through, and the hell, and the world will explode and go.
And
so he'll just do that.
All
whole
of
thing
the
again.
illusionist reaction to that are very much like, oh, that's terrible. Oh, that's awful sounding. I don't want that to happen.
That tracks. And Yuri's like, and they're really boring people. Yuri will actually enter it and worst of all, if you open up the rift too big or make too much of sense, you'll have the creatures of order come here, which will just nullify any form of chaotic magic, which tends to occupy illusions.
That will negatively impact my day considerably.
Yes,
I do
it
not
will.
want that.
Angel incursions do that.
Yeah. Let's not. Myron, are you on top of making sure this all goes doesn't happen? And Myron's like, yeah, I'm definitely, I'm on it. It's fine. We're gonna make sure that they don't.
Well, that was So while we go into the crypt and go down to the laser, because they would have updated all that. Just like that is where I need the main illusion distraction. Whilst we.
Okay. So after several minutes, Nhudrel, you arrive at the necromancy tower. As I described it previously, it looks like the gothiest goth that has ever gothed has done that. Everyone in there is, however, chatting and vivacious. There's only about 12 non-skeletons outside of your party that are there, but it could not be spookier, and it also could not feel kind of warmer or cozier from the atmosphere. And once you get over the bleach bone skeletons that are sort of walking about and sorting things and organizing, one of them sweeping over in a corner and everything. Once you get over that, it's not gory in here. It's just haunting. There's no gross flesh or undead zombies or anything like that in here, or ghouls of any sort. And you can see Hicks and Fang are down there on the main floor as you enter the necromancy tower. Just fine. They're eating snacks. Well, Hicks isn't eating anything or drinking anything, but all of the necromancers are. And they're like, oh, hey, friend. They all kind of sound like Toki and Squizgar from Deathclock.
Are the skeletons eaten? No.
So the skeletons, is Fang still making spectral tomatoes for the skeletons occasionally without depleting the tomato wand? Yeah, so you see the skeletons, and you see that there is a little bit of, or occasionally a skeleton will, by habit, grabs a little bit of actual food, put it in their mouth, and it just drops down through their rib cage. But you do see some skeletons actually, very carefully sharing little bites of this spectral tomato. But the regular necromancers are the ones they're eating. They're 12 living humanoids that are in dark robes, now with their hoods down. Chatting. And in the wrong light, if they weren't laughing and chatting, they would all look very scary. But in this, they just look like a bunch of goth kids that are I don't know, giggling.
So Hicks fits right in.
Yeah, Hicks.
I have my
Hicks
hood
is
up,
the most
except I wear
stoic
white. My robe is white.
But he's not giggling.
And he's not giggling either. So yeah,
So
he's quite literally the opposite. He's wearing white cloaks and he's not giggling. And
But
he's hoods up.
with his attitude, he's the one that fits the setting the most.
Yeah, maybe.
You overhear one of them as you kind of come in, ask Hicks and Fang, oh, we forgot to ask, is your friend a vampire? They're not a vampire, right?
No, he's not.
Okay, good.
I would have Hicks say that he's a frog, but Hicks wouldn't say that.
It's a frog pie.
Why are you guys like this? And
Hicks wouldn't say that.
to think I was excited for this session, you bunch of bullies.
Oh, come, welcome one of the necromancers. Come, welcome, come in. Get some. We have tea, we have wine, we have. I think we have some champagne somewhere. We could get that.
Greetings.
Hi. And like one of
Hi.
them goes to like shake your hand, like enthusiastically.
The Nhudrel shakes it back.
Hi.
Hello. Looks at Hicks, looks at Fang, like, help, where am I, what's going on, who are these people? Like, this was not what he was expecting.
Welcome. Have snacks. I've brought snacks.
Oh.
So glad you came out safely.
Yes.
And she's like putting snacks in his hand.
I'm glad you came out safe. Okay, thank you, that's enough. Hello. I'm Nhudrel. Where's our other companion? Fang? Hicks?
Hicks is
Thanks,
probably like
Hicks.
leaving like Fang to do the talking to Nhudrel, and he's probably like kind of more waiting or looking to wherever the fuck you disappeared to. He's not sold on these necromancers, so he's very like,
Kinda just turn at Fang. Where is Yuri?
It was back. He went with men of tower to room to talk to men of other tower. And she's like kind of staring off, like trying to remember the big words of what specifically they were associated with. But that's the gist of what she could understand.
Nhudrel's just gonna take Fang's shoulders on each side, and which is funny because like she's a whole foot taller than he is, and be like, very seriously, try avoid going into a room alone with people.
What? Why?
Well, last time
She's
you
confused.
got locked up and I got propositioned, so I think let's just avoid being alone in rooms with strangers.
Oh, but that is part of Fang's culture.
Being alone in the room with strangers.
No, Stone, elder cousin Stone is no stranger. Elder cousin Stone is tribesman. Elder cousin Stone knew best for Fang, although had conversation with Yuri. Maybe not feel good for Fang to be locked up in room.
Fang,
Still thinking about it.
I don't want to stick my nose where it doesn't belong, but I may not
Your
be
nose
a
belongs on your
tribe's.
face.
Thank you. Yes, it does. It definitely does.
Oh, that made my day.
That was quick, Reia. That was quick.
I may not
Fang
be
knows what she did.
one of your tribe's people, and I do not know your culture. But I don't need to be a fish to know that a fish out of water, that there's something wrong there. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Something about fish and water.
Oh, this is not the time, but when we are not in the middle of chaos, you and I should talk, if you're open to it.
Okay. We talk. I will listen and hear, yes. She gives him a solid nod.
Around this time, the illusionist Yuri has had enough time to like properly feel comfortable that they could gauge doing a good interpretation of you in a very, very high level illusion and everything, and do that. So back up in the offices with Myron, Yuri, and the illusionist. Yuri, you've explained everything. They're all the way caught up on like what you think and everything. The illusionist just sort of is like, oh, so will you just tell me, like, will you just communicate when it's time for me to turn on the razzle dazzle?
I mean,
Razzle
I
dazzle.
don't have the ability to do long range communications.
Oh, Myron can get you something. Myron, get them
Yeah,
something.
get me
Uh,
something.
Myron, give them a cool thing. And Myron's like, I will make sure that they can communicate with you separate from myself. If I'm with them, I'll do it. But I'll give them, some sort of. I'm sure there's something in here that can.
And naturally, if they like, if I don't remember her name, so let's just call her the grumpy bitch who wants to lock me away. If she
Which
starts
one?
wanting, the one whose tower I was in.
The Conjuration Tower.
Yeah,
Meredith
the
wants
one
to
who.
lock you away. Wild. Okay.
Oh
Sure.
no!
Yeah.
Wait. Maybe she doesn't. I don't know that. Well, no, she did use to perform the Hallow spell with me in there. So, Oh yeah. Yuri would also point out like the whole Fang and Stone situation and be like, if you see this lizard lady hunting for anyone, distract them like big time. But yeah, Yuri would most go if you like pick up chatter that it seems like they're going to start using the big weapon, which is what they seem to want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Just do anything you need to distract them.
I will more than happily make it incredibly challenging for them to accomplish their goals.
Oh, and if you think during that there's anyone else who you could sway, be it by trickery or any method.
Yeah,
But do you need to send any illusionary agents here to get the visage of my other friends, or should I get them up here?
Myron, can I take a peek around? Myron's like, you're welcome to for this, but I'm gonna revoke it, after you're done. And they're like, of course, of course. And they're like, and so down on the main floor, all of you suddenly see eyes open on like so many different objects around
Oh,
you,
Fang
like the
flinches hard
couch,
and like
the
squats.
the candles, the door, eyes open, and they're all just like they're just eyes that are on all these objects around the whole of the main floor, like blinking and looking at all of you.
Are we talking like real eyeballs or like googly eyes?
Like they look like real eyeballs, like they
Great.
look, but they are flat. They
Ooh.
are not. They don't protrude.
I guess
Nick's
that
is just gonna
helps.
pull his hood up and immediately like try hide behind something to like obscure himself somehow. Because he's like, what the fuck?
I just like kind of like squat low, like this. Nhudrel, is this normal out here?
I
Byron,
Is-
could you get one of the skeletons to explain?
is this normal, Steve?
Oh, hold on. No, this is not normal. This is incredibly abnormal.
Just
You know
gonna
that there are spells where an eye can look at something and see it, right, and spy on it. But yeah, as you're all intense, with Yuri mentioning Myron, oh yeah, that would be super disconcerting. Hold on, and then Yuri, see Myron making like speaking, but you can't hear it down on the main floor from one of the skeletons. It just sort of opens its jaw. It doesn't like clatter or act like it's talking, but it just sort of opens its jaw, and Myron's voice comes out. The illusionist is just going to take a look at all of you to better create illusions to distract the other wizards. Yuri and them have had a extremely productive conversation about it. So, It won't take long. They probably only need like a minute or so. I know the eyes are a little bit weird, but it's their thing.
Nhudrel totally isn't just like clasping over himself. Like he is like, okay, this is
They're all such a shy bunch, the illusionist says to Yuri.
They are. Yeah. Yeah. Myron, did you remember to close your diary?
Yes, I did totally, and there's no need for me to follow. Yeah, no, it's closed. It's fine. Honestly, the illusionist could probably trick me out of any information I have anyway.
Oh,
So
I have
I'm not
friends
worried
like
about
that.
it. Yeah, it's just the way that
Aw.
works.
Those two are besties, and I ship him.
With the painting man, yeah.
Yep, I ship them.
a ghostwise halfling that is very finely dressed, and a
nudist.
very Vincent Price and a nudist that never appears as like that rarely appears as a humanoid. A perfect couple. So yeah, after about a minute or so, the eyes all kind of dissipate from the main floor. And Illusionist is like, okay, I've got him.
Okay. I mean, is there anything else?
Yeah, I don't.
You want
if
to
this
know?
is all you have, I have so many questions, but I feel like right now, the order of the day is probably, alacrity, speed, haste.
Mhm.
Not the spell, but maybe the spell, but nonetheless, you should probably get to doing whatever you're going to do with the whole arcane beam channeling thing.
Okay, well, as a quick question, you like trickery.
I
What
do love trickery.
would be your suggestion if a weapon of that size had to get rid of the aura? You know, you had to stop it producing the aura. What would you do to cover that up?
I think rather than cover it up, you just make it. It's going to be hard because eventually they're going to dispel magic and things like that about it. So you just make it incredibly. Are you looking to disable the weapon permanently? You just don't want it to ever work, right?
I think so. I just if it has any aura left or any magic left, others are going to come for it.
Oh, that part. Oh yeah. As far as I know, and I don't pay attention very closely in the meetings, Myron might have more details on this. But as far as I know, if it is an incomplete piece, much like any other magical item, it's essentially rendered moot. It might have like a little bit of its energy, some sort of remnant that somebody trained in understanding magical items could like divine and maybe even potentially utilize to locate. But if you just break a piece off of it, it should greatly diminish the amount of magical aura that it emits, and that would probably make it, especially with as deep as it's buried underground, almost completely invisible to most things, even very powerful things. Like I wouldn't be able to locate it. Well, I mean, I wouldn't be the person that would do this, but I wouldn't be able to like locate it if I didn't already know where it was. If it was like it was before it was completed.
Okay, well, that's good, I think. Thank you. It's yeah, I look forward to working with you in the future. And also, I Yuri is actually going to show a lot of my own, like, genuine concern here. Like, I don't grasp, your mortal situations as well as others, but, Myron nor yourself should lose your job for this. If you, after this is all done, if there's a way that we can help you all keep your jobs and stuff, like Towers and your friends, please tell me.
Oh, I'm, Byron. Are you worried that the other wizards will try to expel you from the council? They don't have a choice with me. I'm the only illusionist that they've ever known, as far as they know, and they never know if I'm actually the person they're talking to. So they're never going to be able to get rid of me. But what about you, Myron? And Myron's like, what would it be, like the 20th time they've tried to get rid of me? It's fine.
Huh.
uh, 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 if I get expelled, oh no, the most powerful necromancer in all of the lands is suddenly not part of a council where he has to cooperate with people. That's a great look for them. Yeah, it's fine. It'll be fine.
Okay.
And you don't know if this is bravado or if it's just like confidence, but they seem at least not concerned with the idea of broaching it with you. But the illusionist is like, I do appreciate the help. Your the stories implied that your lot, not to generalize, would be less helpful, I guess. Like less earnest in cooperation. But maybe those are just the ones that have survived.
I mean, with all due respect, it's a matter of perspective. To a mortal, they may see an example of a child going lost in the woods and being lost forever to the Feywild because they have stumbled into the Feywild or a fairy has captured them. That's one side of the story. Another side is a child who has been abandoned by his family, poor, starving, without a supportive home, any network, taken to a Feywild with a surplus of food, loving family, and an eternity to enjoy life with.
Are you saying
People
that
like to I'm not saying to steal children, but I'm saying that
it
famously
happens?
so,
And then,
when something goes wrong, it's very easy to blame something that people don't even know exists.
eh, I would imagine that some of the stories that have also been attributed to your people aren't your people. But good to
Oh,
know.
it's unseelie too, yeah. But also some of them are definitely us. We are tricky. But genuinely, if they're of the Seelie core, no matter how tricky and strange it may be, they always have good intentions.
Okay. I hope that in the near-ish future, and don't worry about timing. I don't have the same limitations as some others.
Are
Whenever
you
it's
fine with me
convenient.
coming back earlier than this? I don't know. When I go back to see them, I might come back sooner. That's fine, right?
Uh, can I give you can I give you a name? This isn't my name, but if you say
Mhm.
this name, I'll know that you are. I'll know that if you explain to me that you met me later, that you actually did. Right? Almost like a code word, if you will. Right?
Okay, one sec. I really need to get a... One sec. I'm just gonna bring up my important note area. Fang. Wait, I can just put it here. Okay, what's the name?
It's a very simple name and it's a very common name. But if you just tell me I'm a friend of Marcy,
Do we know? Is that a name I recognize at all?
that is not a name you know. That's not a name that any of you would know, but it does feel like the kind of things. um I'm a friend of Marcy. um it does, it feels very Feywild of it, or very extra planar for it. It's so simple in for you. So even like, a week from now, if we're not talking about things being complicated and you're just kind of reaching out for something, I'm a friend of Marcy is a good phrase.
Okay. Thank you. That's genuinely appreciated. I'm gonna go tell my
Yeah,
friends who are probably thinking
go
I've run off and done something useless now.
go connect up with your friends, and I'll wait for word from you to really put on a show.
And remember what I said about Fang. If you see them looking, try and distract them as much as possible.
I will absolutely do that.
Thank you. Also, actually, last question, and I asked this to the two of the archdruids. What is, the whole political standing if it got out that one of their residents locked away someone through psychological torment in the tower? He just tilts his head.
Well, if this was, a week ago before the storm happened, there'd probably be scandal and a great public discussion about it. And then there'd be some sort of kangaroo court, like investigation false thing. And we would all argue about it a lot as they would all. I don't really get involved in the arguments that much, but they would all argue about whether or not it was the right thing to do and everything. And then it would come to the same kind of standstill that oftentimes grinds our situation to a halt. It is very hard for any 1, 2, or 3 of us to decide to take action in kind of a unilateral way against another one. It would be different if you were a citizen of the synod. There's protections for that. But since you're not, it'd be a scandal for about, several months, and then people would forget. And that would be what whoever was keeping a person psychologically would do that. If it was done by one of the council or one of the headmasters of the school.
What about a student?
If it was done by a student. Depending on the student, that could be very bad for them. Yeah.
Okay. It's good to know. Yeah. Oh, how am I? Marin, are you giving me something to contact him? Actually, you can. Why don't you show us to the others first, and then we can discuss that and head
Marin's
down to the
like,
catacombs, 'cause we should start moving.
There'll be something downstairs. I'll get a bobble of some sort that I can use as a communication connector and hand to you for them.
Okay.
And they, Myron goes up to the communications device and it's like, always a pleasure, illusionist, and then just goes there and or just like dismisses the communication and begins to go, that went. Looks at you. That went very well. I'm not surprised that they took a liking to you, but that went very nicely for all of you. So, good job, good work.
Thank you. I think. Yeah. Should we go get the others and tell them? And I don't know anything about the catacombs. This is illusions is my thing. I don't know what I'm doing now. So.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. Let's go back downstairs. We're gonna tell them. We'll figure out how many of us are going down there and everything. And yeah, let's deal with this whole arcane beam thing.
As if Gary's gonna just like skip down the stairs and just go, "Hi, Nhudrel."
Hello, Yuri.
Hi.
I will assume the dozens of me coming from my body had something to do with you.
This is not the first time someone said this to me. And last time it wasn't even me.
I'm not surprised.
That's fair. Right, so are you ready to go into a crypt?
I'm sorry, where are we going?
You're just going to sit down on the sofa next to Fang and just wait for Myron.
Myron is heading down there.
He'll explain everything.
Uh,
He'll explain everything. Oh, did you learn anything important in the tower?
No, I think I was a little bit too stressed. I did promise to broach this with you, all three of you. Although I did say I don't think you would agree. Not the that specific tower would like your help in aiming the big weapon of mass destruction.
Oh, I looked to Hicks. Just like curious what Hicks's thoughts on that is.
He's just looking at Nhudrel with like a blank face, as if like you almost get the vibe of like he thinks that Nhudrel was stupid for agreeing to that.
I
But
agree
he's not
to
saying it.
broach
He's just kind of
it.
giving him the look.
Yeah, I know.
Mhm.
He can read looks, I think. Well, actually, with his perception, not too sure. I promised to ask. I didn't promise that you would help. It was seemed the quickest way to get out of there.
Well, now you've asked.
I have. So, crypt?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Oh, we're gonna go. Oh, just to catch you up, Nhudrel, we're going to destroy the massive weapon.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
Do we know how to stop the...
Oh, yes, I just got told that. Hicks, you know your ball.
The orb, yes.
That's what I said. So, if we can get like a really important bit, probably the bit that makes the aura into the ball, it should permanently shut it down, and they won't be able to restore it because technically the piece of it will still exist, so they can't. You know, I don't know how to explain. That's just what they make.
Yeah, Myron chimes in and is like, yeah, if you take certain pieces of this, there's no way we can recreate them. They're from a period long past. There's literally, we barely understand what we have there. And so if you have a way to remove a piece and shield it, you'll probably be, or fully destroy it, even like fully destroy it. There probably won't be a problem. By the way, my name's Myron, and this little halfling waves at Nhudrel. Welcome to the Necromancy Tower. Pleasure to have you.
It's a pleasure to be here. He's not a little traumatized by halflings at this point. I don't think I had an answer as to how we're going to stop the storm, the hole in the interplanar.
Right, you weren't here for that bit, so that's not a storm. Oh no, I forgot. Hex, do you wanna do this one? I've done them all. Hey.
It's kind of like he's like really doesn't want to get involved more than this, but
God.
it's
Myron
the
is like,
unseelie queen. Well, at least an image of her.
The
You
image,
know who that is, right?
the image of the unseelie queen.
Yes, and we likely think she's here because she wants something to do with this channeling device.
Would I know that unseelie queen is more than just a myth, Steve?
you would assume that everything that you thought was a myth about the Fey realm, I think you'd be in that thing like, I thought all of this was non-confirmed.
And then
I now know
have
that
now
Yuri
And I mean, if you have
yeah.
one Shadow
Yes.
and one Eladrin
Yes.
talking about
Yeah,
it,
I
So
know
he's
that
just
these
like-
two exist.
then-
So now it's like, oh, that's a thing that I
Okay.
guess also I should reconsider.
Yes,
Because yeah.
Great. It's always a learning experience with you.
Consider
You
yourself
look-
educated.
You look peaked, my friend, Myron to Nhudrel. Look peaked. Do you need like some charcuterie or maybe a glass of wine, something like that?
What is a
I'm
karkuchi?
Oh no! Don't ask them for a coochie. That would go wrong. but it's meat. It's good meat.
Meats, cheeses, nuts.
We will take a cartucci.
I love meat.
More importantly, can you see these cursed artifacts for us now?
What?
I think we're going to do that down in the crypts.
Yeah, we want to do that down in the crypts, please.
Right.
We don't want to do it here.
But we were gonna do
Oh,
in office.
yeah. Nhudrel, I also, that was me. Stole a bunch of artifacts from. Well, no, then I guess Hicks did as well, but I did it before.
I
any
didn't
things were
steal
happening.
them.
Well, I guess
I
they gave
bargained
it to
for
you.
them.
Didn't they expect them back?
No.
Oh,
No, Meredith is like,
Never
if
mind
they're
now.
Meredith literally was like, if they're from the Fey realm and you have a fairy, right? If they're from the land of fairy and you have a fairy and they're from your area, they're yours. We just had them because they ended up.
fairies in your area.
But Hicks was also
Yeah.
kind of like, if you give me this, I will maybe consider handing you over. But he like
Yeah,
didn't consider it. He was
I don't
just
think
talking
Meredith
bullshit.
has a lot of confidence that anything's going to come of negotiating with any of you.
Yep.
How?
But you know, can't blame a bitch for trying.
Right,
So,
so the image of the Sealy Queen. What are we doing about that?
Well, she probably wants the big weapon because it has potential to attract. Basically, a weapon of that side that threatens to disturb like planar balance, which is the whole thing of there's balance between heaven and hell, so they can't just intertwine into each other. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, doing too much magic of that potency into a beam and firing it through there will basically attract many different planes, which will include hell Nhudrel. That's fun. Yes, that's where devils and demons are from, and they're going to drive through. Basically, if you get rid of the thing that the Unseelie Queen wants, she's just going to leave because she'll get bored.
You and I have very different ideas of fun. Yes, in that case, yes, that thing needs to be destroyed. Okay. I guess we go to the crypt. Is this an
Okay, we can
aesthetic
go to-
choice, or is that why we're going there for?
No,
a certain
it's
reason?
on the way. It's like the ground.
on the way. There's several basement levels beneath this tower. I know. Big surprise, necromancy tower, lots of subfloors. Under the earth, right? We're really on brand here. But there's several basement levels to this. So we're gonna go through the crypts, and then we're gonna take a path that gets us to where the chamber that houses the channeling device is. And then we're just gonna pilfer a little bit of the device. And then you don't have to worry about the device. And if what your friend says, which is all very reasonable, whatever's causing that outside will go away. Also, I'll get to privately know that I have, or privately know, maybe publicly know, that I have absolutely screwed over the several of the other head wizards of the Octatic Synod, and that's just going to help me sleep at night. We don't get a lot of opportunities to really like one up each other aggressively, and so I'm going to admit that I'm doing this 50% for spite. But you all seem like nice folk, and I'm going to honestly trust you more than most of my colleagues. You've met some of them; they're a challenge. The illusionist is nice, but nonetheless. So to the crypt. Do you want me to? Are we trying to get there quickly and in a small group, or do you want me to roll out the forces of the necromantic tower to join us?
We're not here for a big party or parade. We're here to get a job done.
Okay. Myron looks at them. She's like, all of you, from here on in until I return, don't let anyone into this tower. Nobody comes in. I know we love guests, but we're going to be very secure about this as a location. the rest of you, keep an eye out for suspicious goings on. We don't even really know what other towers are doing with this information, but whatever it can be, or whatever it might be, good. And then he looks over at one of the like bookshelves and grabs like a little like crow's skull with the beak still on it and everything. And he goes, "This should do." And then walks over and hands it to Yuri. If you activate this, it will create a kind of like a essentially something akin to a sending spell straight to the illusionist.
How do I activate it?
Well, you can rub this symbol, and he doesn't rub the symbol into the thing. He just kind of gestures it, and it's just a little hand gesture. And then and then speak the illusionist name. The illusionist name for the purposes of this spell is the illusionist. Or you can give it a little kiss.
Oh, smooch.
Just a little smooch. A little kiss on the beak.
That
Okay.
seems unhygienic.
I mean,
I'm
it's
sure he
been
cleans his
cleaned.
skulls.
It's
Yeah.
been. We're not gross. These are the prejudices that I talk about when people think about
Nhudrel.
necromancers. That we're just like hanging out with a bunch of gross, unclean stuff.
Yuri stands on tuts with his hands on his hips.
My first reaction to bone
Fang.
is not put it by my mouth.
Well,
Fang is
if
attempting
it's
to
fresh
mimic the hand
bone.
sign.
And are you a vegetarian? Do you not eat meat? A lot of people put bones in their mouth,
That's very true.
and that has literally dead flesh on it. I'm just saying it's not that different. Anyway, but yes, that's been clean. It's a perfectly
point.
sanitary thing. Beyond the point. Head down to the crypt. We going down? We going downstairs?
I think so.
Everybody ready?
Thanks. Nhudrel?
Yep.
All right. We're gonna go on a little walk, team. Keep it down. Remember, no sailors, no tattoos. And then they go back to where the pipe organ that Yuri was playing on. Go back and they play a little sequence of notes on it. And the stone suddenly grounds and groans as the whole pipe organ rotates to a spiral staircase down. And he goes, "I'll never get over how much effort we have to make to look like necromancers. It could just be a stigma." And then he like raises his hand up and just almost like dismissively casts dancing lights. So you now have these like green undead like floating lights going down the hallway as he kind of walks down in front of you all and is like, "All right, just as a heads up, I know the temptation whenever you see opulent burial sites is to like fidget with things. Don't touch anything. We are very powerful necromancers. I am an extremely powerful necromancer, but even I can't do anything about the fact that if you disturb a body at rest and it's upset about that, it can come back and haunt you, or may trigger some spell that the person dying had put on that we didn't know about. I'm not 100% familiar with everything that's down here as far as like the things that are buried. It's a lot of it is before my time, but let's just keep our hands to ourselves and focus on the mission. Sound good?
Understood.
Yeah.
Fang nods.
All right.
Who would disturb the dead? She's the perturber.
Grave robbers, treasure hunters, colonists, any
The
number of
urge to
things.
say archaeologist is high, but I'm not going to.
Archaeologists, yeah, they absolutely do all the time. Several
Things
of our
alarmed.
bone skeleton servants are actually from dig sites.
Oh my
So you walk down this sort of spiraling staircase that eventually comes to a platform of the first basement level. In this area, it's very much like a stone basement. It's not yet the crypt. You can see barrels of storage and things like this. This is almost like a cool cellar, like a chilled cellar. It's very cold down, or it's cold and a little damp down here, but not so much. You don't get the smell of mold or anything like that. The green lights illuminate things. This is obviously storage. And Myron kind of walks you across the hall. I need for this one, I need Nhudrel to give me a perception check as you're kind of walking through these kind of storage rooms and storage areas to the next layer down.
Oh, not terrible. That's a 14. I rolled
Okay,
over
14.
a 10.
Nhudrel, in passing, while you're walking down here, you see some crates that obviously have been shipped in and stuff. It seems like this is a pretty significant storage place, and you see one with the seal of the royal family, of a family you're very familiar with.
Excuse me?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, sorry. Is it just a seal? Is it seal on something? Is it...
It's a seal on a wooden crate that is banded to be shipped across water, right? And so it's the same sort of shipping crate that you would see any kind of trade merchant ship have. And it's not like a fancy. It's not like fancy. It's like the it's more like an ink stamp of sorts, right?
I know we are in a rush, but can I ask about this crate in particular?
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course. You would recognize that. Yeah. Sometimes we trade directly with remote locations, and so occasionally we do a little business. And by we, I don't mean just the Necromancy Tower. I mean like the Synod. There's a little business with. I don't know if you were born there, but like where your people are most commonly found.
I see. I had no idea.
Yeah, of course. We have various means of transportation that allow us to have a bit more of a far reach than, say, a drain to the north of us that has to use boats and it takes a long time and everything like that. And they have to know the locations of things straight up. That's why I was so confident that you were definitely wearing a wig. It's weird that you have hair, but maybe that's just an
Maybe I'm
assumption
not
of everyone.
a fool Vidalcan, but my entire family has hair.
Your whole family has hair. Well, it's quite stunning.
Thank you. I grew it myself. Oh, I was just startled to see.
Oh yeah,
that.
there's some. We get in. None of this has been cataloged yet, but when it gets cataloged, usually we distribute it amongst the towers and everything. I think this is probably clandestine. It's probably pedestrian. It's probably just like fabrics or something like that. I'm not the guy that monitors the shipments in and out of the tower in that level of detail, unless I know that it's something significant.
I see. Thank you.
Did you spend much time there or among? Like, I don't like to assume people are from where the like bulk majority of their people come from, right? Anyone can be born anywhere, kind of thing. But
Yes, my family comes from there.
maybe after this, if there's time before you have to run and escape the wrath of several other large, powerful wizards, we can have a little chat. But we'll find out. And Myron had kind of kept kind of very slowly walking and kind of picks up the pace again to the second level of the basement. The stone begins to transition from unnatural to kind of more natural. It's clearly like mined out of a stone thing as the walls go from like laid stone to just the sub-earth stony rocky surface. As the stairwell spirals down to a second floor. This floor has a rounded opening with mists that immediately encroach upon them. I need everyone to roll a survival check for me, please.
Oh, survival, you say?
Yes.
Let's see, so the wow words are great. I got dirty 20. Oh.
Let's look at the rolls. Look at the rolls.
Oh my god.
So nat 1 for Nhudrel. This is not a bad one to get in that one. 12 and 10. Rix. Fang, it is your nose, as always, that understands. This room reeks of decay. The mist itself is not natural. That is not a natural sort of like low valley or bog mist or anything like that. It's definitely an affectation of the amount of dead that are here. When I say that it reeks of decay, for the rest of you, it smells a little bit odd. And I would say that Hicks and that Hicks and Yuri, you eventually can identify, oh, there's bodies buried here, and they've attempted to preserve them, but there's probably some that have gone not perfectly attended to, right? But as you step into this place, you find it as a long, wide hallway with branching causeways coming off of each, the branching halls off of each. And in every position where there would normally be like wall, instead are dug out cubbies about 3 high, so about 8 feet high. But there's 3 of these, and they're all inset into the wall, exposed coffins, sarcophagi, like burial things. So these things aren't like all of these tombs are exposed to you.
Hicks will
If
probably
you
cover
were
his face with these cloak a bit more, so
yeah,
it doesn't have to smell it as much.
yeah, it's a bit probably overwhelming to Fang as a smell. Nhudrel, this does you don't catch it at all. Yuri and Hicks, you get a bit of it, but Fang, it's probably oppressive as a smell. Myron's like, this is the first layer of crypt.
Nhudrel's a little
Welcome.
preoccupied.
Yeah, thinking about home. Welcome to the first layer of what will be many layers of crypt. I think on this layer, I think there's roughly about 1,500 or so tombs from various times and periods spread out. Looks back, and with the green light on his face and his his like very very old Hollywood Vincent Price kind of like dark gothic attire and everything, just the way the light hits him, you begin to understand how this very friendly fellow quickly turns into the head of the necromancy discipline of magic here in the Synod, and is like, remember, don't go wandering about. It's best to stay on the path with me, lest you might find some trouble. And he then turns and walks. Do any of you split from the path, or do you heed Myron's words?
No.
I'm staying the fuck with him.
She's just slowly nodding. She smells very bad. She's
I assume
struggling
Hicks
a little.
is mission focused, so I assume Hicks.
Yeah, he's not going anyway.
Yeah, Yuri has no intention of straying from a path. If he's told to stray from a path, he'll listen.
Yeah. You walk down. I need wisdom saving throws from the party.
Oh, good.
Pretty sure I'm shit at that.
Ooh, a natural 20.
Oh.
Oh,
3.
wait.
Hmm?
19.
He says rolls came through late.
Oh, there it is. So 19, 14 for Hicks, a 20 for Yuri, and a 3 for Fang.
Oh no.
Fang, as you're walking down this pretty exceedingly long causeway or passageway down to get to the stairs opposite you to go down to the next level, Fang, you begin to hear the sound of maybe 2 young children just sort of crying off down one of the side
Yeah.
hallways.
No. No.
Ghost babies.
Haunted.
Gonna eat your face.
No.
Are there children in this smelly place? He's asking the necromancer.
I mean, I'm sure there's some children buried down here. Yes.
But live ones that can do the crying.
Are you hearing children crying?
Yes.
I can say with 99.99% certainty that those are definitely not live children crying.
I
How
hate
does that work?
Unless you can see it in front of you and it looks very solid and very opaque, maybe don't trust your senses here. Probably a haunt, and it's probably off in one of the side corridors, and it probably wants to lure you in there so it can, maybe best case scenario, have you avenge its death. Worst case scenario, drain you of your life force.
Fang.
Mm,
Fang.
sounds bad. Yes,
Does your clan deal with spirits at all?
they do. I am not normally part of such ceremonies.
I guess they're just basically spirit tricks, angry spirits.
Ah,
I'm gonna hold Fang's hand.
unfortunate.
Yuri's like, it's fine, but Yuri's like very like he's actually standing very close to Hinks. Closer than usual, like
I'm fine. I'm
Don't
fine.
worry,
dark
Fang, I got you. I understand this. Don't worry. Let me help you understand. Oh my god, I'm not leaving Hicks aside.
Yep. Yuri would definitely be the kind to be like, you have fun over there. Okay, next to the man who's unfazed by this.
So as long as Fang doesn't or as long as Fang doesn't go against their party and Necromancer's advice, you head down further into the crypt. You go down another layer of spiral staircase. This time, when you reach the bottom, layer, you are met with sort of a kind of a stone marble archway, and this looks more mausoleum than sort of natural crypt. Here, there are definitely still a significant number of entombed bodies, but they have things like statuary. Instead of there being 3 stacked on top of each other, there's 1 in each like little cove that would be the walls, and then there's hallways for them. There are little plaques of various fading ages of people that have been buried here. and this is more like this is where wealthy and powerful people were basically buried underneath the necromancy tower. I need everyone to do another wisdom save the moment you cross the threshold of the marble here.
15. Oof. Maybe.
14.
Okay.
22.
Woo!
Love a
Oh.
nat 20 on a save, yeah.
Check that.
9.
This is Yuri
No.
clinging ticks.
Yuri,
Bonjour.
while you're walking through here with a 9, because you did not fail at more than 5. With a 9, you are confident that what you are seeing is an illusion, not real. But unsettlingly, you see a bigger than all of the others, wrapped in a sort of just at the end of its life in fall, permanently stilled in time amount of foliage and flowers and such. Beautiful statuary on either side. A tomb that is actually kind of tilted up and vertical, probably 8-9 feet in height, with the entombed sort of represented on the lid of it, so facing outward so that you could see it. That sort of like half-built statuary that happens on the lids of tombs. And yeah, it's Yuri. It's not anyone should recognize here. It's definitely looks like it's something that is so foreign, which may be why it causes the illusion. Looks like it's a tomb for your dad.
Oh,
Found your
yay!
dad.
Whoa!
uh,
My God.
arguably the idea of your father being buried in a crypt on that is so not
Yuri's kind of
realistic,
staring at it.
but it is
yeah.
not pleasant to look at.
So, can the others see this illusion?
The others see the same tombs I've been describing, not this. You all see everything. Like, it's more opulent down here, and so you see some nice tombs with the statue here or there, and like some more thorough wording. They don't see this. This is like 3 times the size of everything else, right? It's like obviously a very special and important place. The illusion has been really worked over to be very accurate. But yeah, you're the only one who can see it.
Yuri's gonna stand and stare at it for a moment, just kind of like, Mr. Mayrin,
Yeah.
what spirits down here are powerful enough to do personalized illusions? But like,
well, it kind of depends on what they were before they died. If there's other powerful like wizard, I know there's some wizards from other towers that have been buried down here. There's families, but a lot of like your standard like sort of like your revenants, your poltergeists, your other like restless spirits, right? A lot of them, if they had power previously, will have some of it. We would probably know if they had all of it because they'd probably be up and about and causing trouble. But some remnants of it, and so it can be kind of unique. But whatever it means is that whatever spirit, are you seeing a personalized illusion right now? Is that what you're telling me, Yuri?
Yuri's like gonna be very ratified and go, yeah, I can just see my father's tombstone over there.
Oh, well, that's impossible to be there.
Oh yeah,
Pixel's gonna
I
look
mean,
over at Yuri like, what? Not say anything, he's just
Thing's
gonna look at him.
like
it's a
horror
very,
and
it's
turn
very
to face
strange
them.
illusion. We don't really use tombstones, because we go back into the Feywild and reincarnation and
Yeah.
So it's a little bit, it's a bit foreshadowing. But I'm just wondering who would be powerful enough to know my family heritage and then replicate. It's just bit creepy. I don't feel very welcome.
So don't approach it, and let's move quickly, because whatever's trying to do that to you is probably pretty strong. Not something I'm pretty confident I could handle. Like, I'm sure I could handle it, but let's not tempt fate. Um, uh, and
Okay.
Myron begins moving kind of quickly, and he goes, I'm gonna admit that I'm not super excited about the fact that this is sort of my weakness, is that I kind of moved into this job and there was a lot of stuff already going on here, and I'm interested in aspects of necromancy, very passionate about them, but all of the whole dealing with the spirits, like the consciousnesses of the undead, that stuff has always bothered me, because it feels like it's outside. It's one thing to resurrect a bunch of inanimate bones. It's another thing, and just have them move about. It's another thing entirely to like bring back someone's essence or like interact with those. Never been comfortable with it, so I kind of try to leave best alone, and it's gotten me this far. So I'm not too mad about it. But yeah, admittedly, I can respond to whatever comes up here, but my greater knowledge of this place is extremely limited. It's creepy. It's creepy down here, and I don't like it.
Can we move on, please? Thank you.
Yeah. Well, he was walking while he was saying this.
Okay.
Like, you are moving down one layer further.
Yuri's gonna look at Hicks and just with a what the shit face. Like, ah!
And then well, you're going down the stairwell. One more wisdom save. You're not in another layer yet. You're just in the stairwell.
Oh boy.
Okay. Come on, Nhudrel. Come on, Nhudrel.
Noodles turn.
So
Well,
that's
Fang
an-
only got a 10.
I got an 8.
And you got an 8.
Mhm.
Nhudrel and Fang, you both hear very strongly and powerfully in your mind, just a creaking voice that just says, "Release me."
Huh? No, thank you.
Sounds
you're
like
good.
a bad idea. No.
Who are you two talking to?
Oh, just a voice telling us to release them.
Don't pay any
Oh,
attention
you
to
heard it
anything does
too.
not come from the living.
I don't need a reminder. Can we walk a little faster, please?
Should I play a song?
A song?
Yeah. Just distract the mind and also make sounds not audible.
You just hear
No,
Nhudrel-
because what if you wake up something else?
You just hear Nhudrel like humming under
Would
his breath.
The
It's
dead
like,
Not gonna
wake
play.
up to a song?
Just keep your mind on the path ahead and don't stray. It's that simple.
Yuri's just gonna go grumble, 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 counter charm, grumble, grumble, grumble. He doesn't have it yet, but he's still on his way, so he's gonna grumble.
I need all of you to roll insight checks on Myron.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
he failed.
Oh,
I knew
great.
I didn't trust this
I got a
person.
23.
20. Dirty 20.
14.
You're noticing that Myron's
Ooh,
level
nat
of
20.
chill, nat
Nice.
20, what is that? That's one nat 20.
2 dirty
Was that
20s.
two? Dirty 20, dirty 23, and a 14 is the worst one. That's great. That's a great round of it. All of you notice this. All of you notice that Myron's disposition of his casual, like, sort of easygoing vibes is tensing. And at first, it's more about kind of what you're telling him about. But as you're approaching the next kind of floor that has to be walked through, you notice that he is beginning to sweat slightly. And he's frustrated. I'm going to say Yuri and Fang, Yuri, because you're familiar with it and your ability for empathy and reading an audience is very high. Fang, because you can smell it. Myron's in a state of abject, like extreme anxiety, fear, and and all bubbling over with a nice layer of panic as he's beginning to try to keep up appearances over his overall pace and everything, but he is not looking forward to this floor.
Someone has failed. Check.
Is this like an unnatural fear, or is this like a?
This is it's not an unnatural fear. It's not a magical effect. You're not getting that. Um, it's real panic. It's real terror.
Okay.
But he is doing his best to swallow it in his physical form and just kind of keep going. But
Myron,
he doesn't. Yeah.
just you would do like the hand thing, just like hold the monk, this movement,
Stops.
and he would
yeah.
he would just kind of go. It's it's okay if you're frightened, but fear that is bundled will just become worse. Just take a breath and tell us what's going on, and then we can work together to go through it. Don't you don't need to try and do this alone. You don't need to be brave. We're all frightened. Maybe not Higgs, but we're all frightened. Take a breath, and then just as you breathe out, just talk about what's on your mind.
I
Takes
love
a breath.
you.
Fang hands him a snack, a comfort snack.
And
Takes a
do
breath.
eat, actually. That's a good point.
He immediately starts like fear snacking.
Oh,
And he goes, on this floor is the previous head of the necromantic order or discipline of the Octatic Synod. If we could just sprint run through this floor, that would make me very happy.
Do you think that would help? Like, as an honest opinion, do you think
The
running
less
through...
time we're in his presence, the better.
Why was he a
The
bad
less-
person?
Do any of you know what a lich is?
Yes, we all do. Well, player-wise, yes. Character-wise, I don't know. I'm assuming Hicks does.
Yeah, no, he's asking your characters. I know that you know. You probably
Does
know what a lich is.
Hicks would probably know, 'cause
mean,
that's
Hicks
all
would know.
soul shit.
I feel like
Yeah, Hicks would
Nhudrel
know.
would.
Fang would. I feel like he know somewhat the rumors.
Yeah.
I weirdly don't
in
think
a-
Lichdom would come to the Feywild.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think Yuri would know it by title. At the very least. But yeah. Liches. I would say that Fang would hear it in a like scary stories for children kind of way.
Mhm.
And then yeah, Nhudrel and Hicks should probably know it.
Yeah.
And it's like
I'm like 90% sure Hicks knows what a lich is.
Yeah.
yeah. And
It'd be
it's
weird
like
if he didn't.
he looks at all of you, and he goes, "I might technically be considered one, but I am not the kind of lich that people perceive. The last person was absolutely that."
The previous necromancy was a lich.
A lich, like capital L, had to be feared. Terror across the land kind of lich.
And he's entombed here.
He's enchained here. I don't have a way to like get him any more contained than he is.
I am very happy to sprint across this floor.
Did we need to prepare more things before heading through?
Are you worried about him enchanting you?
No, I am more worried about him having enough time to get off. I'm more worried about him influencing you all than I am them. Not
Yes,
with charm spells, but with. You all seem very lovely, but I've only known you for a short time. And he, as terrifying as he was also exceedingly logical, very powerful, very knowledgeable, and had a good way about convincing people to go his way without just forcing it.
I have an idea, but I need people to trust me. I will tell you what I want to do beforehand for once, maybe.
I'm I'm open ears at this point.
He'd more look to the others. Yuri looks very sheepish at this because it's like, okay, he's never asked. This is a very weird thing for Yuri to ask someone to do this.
Nhudrel's very proud of him.
If he's going to use magic that affects the mind, I could enthrall you all. Just while we get through, but you would be enthralled under my spell, your mind would be purely focused on me, and you would potentially not be able to be influenced by him, if that makes sense.
And what if you are influenced by him?
I can't promise I won't be, but that's a lot less people influenced than a lot of people. I mean, you know, he will get one person, but you will still be under my enthrallment no matter what for a short period, and you would have enough time to get through.
How do we know that if he enthralls you, that you won't change your tune about us? I don't think it's a good idea.
Well, my magic doesn't work like that. My magic will make you enthralled with me and make you adore me, yes, but I can't command you to do anything. Can't make you do stuff. Your mind will just be focused on the thoughts of me.
So your enthrallment is to have us...
I bring out the desires in people.
Will that help us sprint through faster?
Yes, you could still sprint, but it would also just... You don't have to. It's just if your mind's occupied by an enthrallment, it's very unlikely that it's going to be... You can't really be enthralled by two people at once.
But how do we keep you safe?
You can't. But like I said, it's less people who are at risk.
Fang is not happy with the idea of Yuri being the only one to suffer through it.
But the only other option is we all go through and we all potentially suffer, and there's multiple of us get, affected by it. That's more people that we're going to have to potentially hold back. Or
how would we get Yuri back if he was?
I don't think you're asking the right person. I know, gesture to Myron.
Myron, I don't think that this person will be able to enthrall or coerce Yuri outside of Yuri's will. I am concerned that they will be able to offer Yuri things or make a deal with Yuri that Yuri might, again, you as a person seem very delightful, but might be too good of an offer for you to pass up.
But won't they offer me that anyway, no matter what?
Yes, that's why I'm worried and would like to sprint as fast as possible so that they cannot have a discussion with us as a group. They'll pick a target and they'll make an offering of some sort. And then that person will have to make a choice in that moment.
Fang is scratching her head. What could a leech offer Yuri?
A good suck.
I love. Oh my word.
Oh, accurate.
But the minute you hear this lich speaking in your head, tell one of us. We immediately know you're the one he's trying to enthrall, and we'll make sure that you do not answer him and get you out the room faster.
That might be the best plan.
I'm not against
Okay.
your enchantment magic, Yuri. I just don't think this is the best time for it, considering we don't know what will happen if you become enthralled by him and we're enthralled by you. Even though you seem to know.
Well, I do know it's my magic, but if that's
He's
what
a
you
powerful
wish,
lich.
okay. Then I guess we'll just run.
Ah. All right. There are 4 of you. I'd like.
Wait, so
Oh
we're not being enthralled by Yuri's?
God.
You can
Sorry,
be if
Hicks,
you
that-
want. Hicks doesn't
Yeah.
want to be because he's
It's
worried.
it's a performance. It will get people
I
who are
If
in
am.
one
range.
person,
So
yeah, you need to basically all do it, or none of you.
you would have to roll against it if Yuri starts doing it. Because you're in the area, you would still have to roll against it.
I am
Got it.
great at running.
Yeah.
Are
Oh
you?
yeah,
If
that's a
you-
good point.
I was being sarcastic.
Gonna facepalm into the lich.
At least there's
if
no
all of you
cabbages
choose
to run over.
give me
we don't know that. Dead cabbages.
in this order. In this order, Nhudrel is
Kimchi.
1, Yuri is 2, Hicks is 3, Fang is 4. Yuri, give me a D4 roll.
No.
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 I got 1.
Okay. You all begin sprinting across. It is impossible for you not to see this. There's no way, unless you like close your eyes and run the risk of falling. It's impossible for you not to see this. You wouldn't expect to see this. This is not like a normal hallway. The walls are flat stone interlocked together. This is one massive chamber with columns holding it up, stone columns holding it up. On the east side of the chamber, it only goes about 10, 15 feet deep and then ends in a wall. This cavernous space on the west side of the chamber, on the left side of where you're running, is where you see the previous head of the Octatic Synod's necromancy tower. On their knees, crouched down. The roof in here is probably about 15 feet. So if you had to make an estimate, this creature stands between 20 and 25 feet tall if it stands erect. With one giant, black and red decaying wing, and the right side of its face decaying, but with a massive horn coming out of it. The left side of its body gray, the skin almost stony and dead. The size of a giant, partially demonic, with a tail that looks like it's curled around itself, that almost reminds you of a dragon more than a devil, is a massive hodgepodge of different creatures
Oof.
massed along the body of a giant whose clawed hands are in hand-shaped manacles locked in place. Glowing divine chains hold this creature in its place. It's also got a strap, or it's also got a like a belt strap that is chained to the wall, as well as that, or as well as what appears to be chains that are coming off of its cloven feet. Like fully manacling it to the structure of this place. The different parts of its face are all not only from different origins, but also at different states of decay, as its one glowing fiery red eye gazes upon Nhudrel
Uh-oh.
like an overwhelming drowning feeling in your mind, the telepathic voice of this monstrous lich speaks to you, Nhudrel. Hello, my friend.
Oh god, it's me.
You're one. That's what Yuri rolled.
Yeah.
We're good at rolling
You
ones
dare.
for neutral.
I just,
His lucky
Do
number.
you dare let this monstrous jailer continue to trap me for eternity down here? What sort of cruel creature would do that? Would it not be better to end my life or end my time than simply leave me in an ongoing forever purgatory, trapped alone in this place? This is your ally? A person that's offered you nothing and shows you his cruelty plain for you to see? Wouldn't it be better if he just put an end to me? He knows how, but he refuses.
as Neutral is running, I think the rest of you are just gonna see him do this, and he's like, "Yeah, it's me, Or he's running. He's like,
Yuri will yell out and just be like, he will say, with trickery of this kind, he would just be like, just to focus on a personal mantra and just remember that nothing comes without, what's the word? Monkey's paw is what he's trying to say. Everything's a monkey's paw. There may be truth, there will be some truth to his words, but it will hide the wickedness of just how bad it is. So just keep running.
you guys will hear Neutral singing at the top of his lungs. I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts. Just
What
they're all sitting in a row.
Yuri looks offended by this.
Where's the leaf? Speaking of coconuts.
I need
The perversion
Nhudrel.
of music.
Please roll me an intellectual saving throw.
Oh,
Intelligence saving throw.
Okay. I've advantage on that. Okay. Come on. 21!
You rolled
As
a 1
you-
though, which is really fucking funny.
I know. Thank God I have advantage
one
on
of your
that.
rolls was a 1.
Thank God I have an
Amazing.
advantage.
Amazing.
Listen, it's a good thing I got
Uh,
picked. My int is a +4 modifier. And I have advantage on
well,
saving throws.
it's an intelligence saving throw because it's you.
Oh, okay.
Nhudrel, you feel the shift of emotion in your mind as you start singing your coconut song and running faster from this. You feel dissatisfaction and disappointment reaming from this creature, but more importantly, Nhudrel, would you like to describe
Oh, God.
a time where you, as a character, and this is going to be a little bit of backstory invention for you probably in the moment.
Great. Uh-huh.
Maybe because of your position, because it wasn't the proper thing to do in your situation, let something that definitely went that definitely was the wrong thing to do happen because it was protocol that it happened. The rules of society superseded the ethical choices of the moment in your history. And you can invent this on the spot. Obviously, if you struggle at it for a little bit and you can't, we can just broadly describe that that's what you're thinking about. But that memory is immediately present. So if you would like to describe maybe a time that Nhudrel wanted to act, maybe knew that it was ethical to do something else, but because of procedure, because of the rules of the society they were in or some such, decided instead to not act and allowed a bad thing to happen. And you can pick whatever level or degree of this is.
I think what would probably come to him first would be how his student was trained for his family. He's unhappy with it, but he can't do anything about it. His hands are tied.
His hands were tied. This feeling that you get of disagreeing entirely with a system that you have to participate in and just accepting that that's what happens. Accepting what that happens shifts the dissatisfaction and the disappointment from the mind of this grand creature and fills you with emotions about this. And you can role play this however you want. There's not a mechanical thing because you got a 21, you're fine. Role play however you want this on this. But as far as you're concerned now, all of the shame and self criticism that would live for that choice is now that a creature of this size that has done this many wrong things to get where he's at, all of that lives in your mind now. It's no longer you're like, I'm upset about this, and then you can kind of justify it and logic it away and be conflicted about it, but kind of put it. It is now where your head is at. And it's enhanced by the fact that this is here. Again, no mechanical attachments to this. I need everyone else in the group to please roll me a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, goody.
Disadvantage
Right.
for Yuri on this one, actually.
Oh,
Who you are.
okay.
Oh,
Okay, that's 13.
I got a 10.
uh-oh. I had
Oh,
that
no.
one.
I nearly got a 20.
Oh no.
So nothing too terrible about this happens because again, you decided to run. There wasn't this. All of you except for let me with save 13 with save. What did you get for your wisdom save, Hicks?
10.
Having a problem. 10 nat 1 or 2 and the disadvantage 13. All of you, and this might affect how things are around you, are overwhelmed with a sense of heartbreak, like a sadness, the kind of thing where if somebody that you thought was deeply close to you does something that you find abhorrent, all of you except for Nhudrel's in his own thing, but the rest of you all feel just an absolute emotional kind of wave of overwhelming
Did I pass the check?
No, you did not. And
Okay.
so the reason this is special for Yuri is because you are an Eladrin from the Fey realm. So this might
Yeah.
have an effect on the environment around you. So you can describe what feeling, like when I say like as if someone close to you didn't betray you, but betrayed your image of them, right? With a choice, that kind of a heartbreak. Like, no, I can't believe you did this. Not to me, but that this is something you did. When I say it's someone that's close to you, I'm talking like close like parent, close like child, close like sibling that you grew up with and deeply cared about. That level of closeness. So how does this express itself in the world around Yuri, since you sort of affect the environment around you?
So is this more of like a, oh my god, woe is me, boo hoo hoo, my heart's broken, or a more like this fucking slut, what did she do? Like, shoot
It
her in the
depends on how
face.
you feel like Yuri would express someone greatly disappointed. Some people react in anger, other people react in just like self-doubt because they didn't clock that this was something that the person that they deeply cared about and respected would behave this way. Other people are just saddened because it's a sad state of society. Like they empathize with it a little bit in the way that they're like, I understand, but like this breaks my heart that they're there. So other people just pity. Like it's sort of up to Yuri. on sort of how this affects itself, because it's a deep disappointment and a deep sense of loss. But it doesn't have like a target, so it could be emotional anger, or it could be emotional deep sadness, or it could be self-loathing. It could turn inwardly and be, again, that shame where you're like, you're upset at them, but you're upset at yourself, right? For like letting yourself be in that kind of a connection, and then that person letting you down. Kind of depends.
I think, fortunately for Yuri, that like he can't just change because he has to be during a trance for that to happen.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
like, I imagine it's kind of like, well, his eyes kind of would completely. It wouldn't be like a subtle frost over. It would almost be like like a flash freeze where his eyes basically almost just appear frozen. And he just. I think his movement, it would continue. Like, he would keep going forward. It would be at a slower pace, but I think there would be like, as he's moving along, there's just like a trail of frost following him. But I reckon he'd otherwise just be very quiet and just kind of keep on going ahead for the time being, because he's at least used to feeling emotions so deeply, because it's part of who he is.
I assume there's no external expression on Hicks.
I'm battling to think what would make him so sad. I'm not gonna lie.
Can I'm gonna message you on Hicks. Fang, Reia, if you could design how Fang visually expresses that this has happened.
I've got like 2 ideas, but I don't know.
The biggest of Ghibli tears.
Oh, Fang!
And like that frown you get when you're trying not to cry, but you're obviously failing at it, and it's just like at the bottom lip and the big
bottom
eye.
lip tremble.
Oh
Yeah.
no! Oh, puppy.
Like that.
So we're gonna have to kill the lich now for making.
No, we
cannot kill the lich.
I don't think we can kill the lich.
We can
The
come back at
problem
level
is,
15
on the way
and try and
out,
kill the lich.
we have to pass this man again.
Oh god.
Well, there's
Do
other
we?
ways. Once we destroy it, we can try and go through like.
Yeah,
the
this is not the
evolutionary tunnel
only way
tower.
into this subchamber.
Okay.
Yeah, we can
It's
go
just
completely
an
different route.
easy way into this subchamber.
Well, the easy way, but we have to go past Big Lich Man.
Yeah, this is the easiest way.
Oh, I hate
God.
that.
I hate to think what the other ways are.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not good. They're not good.
I feel like some of the struggle with the other ways is just that we have to deal with the other archmages, though.
That's the thing, is that there's a lot more combativeness to the other ways. This is
We're not
more
level
of
for
like
that.
a this place is bad. Okay. Hicks, I'll let you kind of express it as Yama, as you kind of come to a conclusion on exactly how this would appear on Hicks. Because again, mechanically, nothing is definitively happening. This is purely story. This is purely about where your characters emotionally are and may affect certain choices you make. But like otherwise, it just is. If Nhudrel had not passed the save, this would have been worse.
Oh, great.
Yeah. It would have been more affecting. But yeah, that's where my headspace was too.
Yeah. I don't know.
But you make it through this floor. You make it past down. The creature, this lich, never actually verbally spoke. It was purely mental. It is massive. I think that, if your brains weren't elsewise distracted, both Hicks and Yuri would be like, that shouldn't be a thing. So there shouldn't be some sort of quarter devil giant dragon thing in the like, none of that should go together. But it's not. But it's hard to focus on anything other than just getting through this place as you make it down to the next or to the next stairwell and away from, far enough down to get away from this sort of influence of the imprisoned lich. Myron, as you get to safety, this portion of the stairwell is actually going down deeper and further than the others. It's a greater length of spiral sort of stairwell. Myron eventually takes a break, or like takes a pause mid stairwell and kind of looks up at all of you. It's like, are you all okay? Are you all good? I mean, we're here.
Fang is wiping her face with her arm.
Hicks is just gonna give a very curt nod and then like
I don't know.
not pay attention.
I don't know if you guys know a type of crying that has no sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Nhudrel's doing.
I
No.
can just imagine a Nhudrel whale crying. I'm so sorry. Just
No, he because of reasons he doesn't do that. But he's basically been trained to only cry quietly so that nobody would notice, and that's what he's doing.
Is
Healthy.
it like the single tear
So
thing?
healthy. Sorry?
Multiple
okay, we're
tears,
teaching
but
to whale
silent tears.
cry.
At least he's crying. Hicks isn't.
Hicks is like, emotions, I'm constipated, thank you.
I love that this environment is like there's Yuri, a stranger in a strange land, and then several kinds of emotionally traumatized and or repressed other party members. Like
Yeah, Yuri's not
Yuri
even
is
traumatized.
emotionally the healthiest,
Yeah.
healthiest person in this
Hicks
group.
isn't traumatized.
Sure.
He's
A life of- sure.
Not he remembers.
that's how people
Biological trauma mechanics.
That's how there is I think there's a 0% count on non-traumatized shadow guy. In
I'm
my
sorry,
mind.
I love that Yama's
In
like,
his current
yeah,
life.
Hicks isn't
Yeah.
traumatized,
I
and
feel
Steve's
like-
like,
I feel like-
sure.
Sure,
I
Jam.
feel like Hicks doesn't have the emotional response of a traumatized person. In a subjective perspective, Hicks is fine.
He's that war veteran that doesn't show signs of PTSD for another 30 years and then just one day will fucking hit the deck for no apparent reason.
No.
In that way, I
That
think Hicks
happens
is
quite
fine.
commonly.
In the way that what Shadow Kai are and Shadowfell is, no person in a like if they had a choice to be like, what environment would I like to be raised in? This
Oh yes,
very
obviously.
yeah, that's what I'm more referencing. But nonetheless,
I think
all of
Yuri,
you
when
are standing there like in front of Myron. Go on. What is Yuri?
Oh, I was just gonna say, Yuri, when they came out of that, like speaking on like the emotional stuff, Yuri would take like a breath because his eyes are still clouded, and he would speak very honestly and go, what the lit showed you and made you feel is extremely real. My magic can do the same. You need to breathe and actually feel it before you move on. You need to acknowledge where that feeling's come from, take a breath, and then we'll continue. And he
You're
would
not
just
a good
stand there and
guy.
wait.
Why
Um,
did the leech make my heart hurt?
Oh, baby,
Because he can't do anything else at the moment. Sweetie.
Yeah,
It's the
it's
only way
good
he
that
can get to
honestly, this was the best scenario, folks. This is the best case scenario with them.
It's bad.
Just you wait until we go to the Feywilds, kids. Yuri's not saying that in character, but just fucking just you wait.
It's not gonna be good.
Feel like, oh, this is bad.
And then we get to go to the Shadowfell. No, hopefully we never go there.
I don't know which one of you they approached. I think I do because Nhudrel waved and like started singing.
Nhudrel literally went, it's me, and then
It's
I've got
me,
a
it's me,
bunch of
it's me.
coconut.
Nhudrel, Yuri's advice is correct, and I want to give you my thanks. I know that is an extremely challenging position to be in, and I appreciate you not immediately
Shitting yourself.
like responding it.
Nhudrel's absolutely wiping his face with a handkerchief and just going, I'm fine.
I'm fine.
Let's go stop a number of wizards from possibly bringing an end world event upon our heads.
That's true. The Unseelie Queen makes people feel way worse than that.
That's wonderful.
Oh. Fang's not happy about that
That's-
statement.
So you progress down the stairwell. I need all of you to roll a perception check.
Oh goody.
Cannily, I'm
goody.
so great at those.
Oh, 15! Oh my god, someone just falls
Pretty
down the
high
stairs.
DC.
Neutral falls down the stairs.
Oh,
16.
ain't.
That's it. That's a 6. Oh my god. Oh wow,
No,
we're rolling.
there's no stair falling.
We are rolling so
Um,
great.
Oh.
Okay. So I'm gonna roll on Fang's character sheet for Myron on this one.
Go on mine. Myron. I almost said Myers, but that was a bit.
Myers.
That's a nat 2 on the die, so he doesn't catch this
Oh,
either.
God,
Alright.
no.
The group of you.
Oh, shit.
Was there a door behind us to shut, just to check? Can we shut a door behind us?
Can
No,
we
I want
you
to
can't
shut a
shut.
door.
There's no doors to these stairwells, unfortunately.
Why? There's a
as
lich.
the-
Why is there no gateway for the lich?
Do you think
that's-
that a door is gonna stop something? Like if it gets out of
That's
those
also really valid.
chains, you're fucked.
It's great
for my
sanity, thank you.
I literally play in a campaign where one of our common moves is shut the door behind us, because it's very dungeon crawly and it works so well. It's so
Why
good in
didn't you let me do it then?
They were a
Because
fucking
this-
door.
They don't have doors, and you're not dealing with zombies or ghouls. You're dealing with things that are much less door prevented.
Kind of fairy,
Also,
isn't
5e
it?
doesn't have that level of action economy management. So you get to this another kind of stone, like more natural, like it's mined, right? But it's carved out of the earth. It's not like trimmed or anything like that. Archway into what appears like it's going to be another like layer of dead. This one a lot more kind of densely packed, more kind of classic mausoleum where the bodies are kind of buried on top of each other and they're like stacked fairly close to each other and everything like that. And you get to the entryway of that and you hear a voice.
Oh, shit.
Fang, there you are.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
As in front of you, stepping out from one of the side hallways, is Stone, flanked by this time now 6 attendants to the towers, though they don't all carry the exact same color palette as the ones that had the light trim for the Conjuration Tower. 6 people, but Stone steps out, kind of in the main center wide hallway and everything, and is Fang. Here you are. And Stone smiles at the rest of you. Count, Dr. Himron. Councilman Himron. Good to see you down here as well. Are you bringing our friends to help with the channeling device? Okay. How do you all react? 'Cause
Hicks was
Myron's-
immediately like, he's on the defensive. His hands quivering on that blade. He will slice a bitch. Don't test him.
Nhudrel is standing in front of Fang, which is hilarious because Fang is so much bigger than he is.
Fang is frozen in shock.
Yuri would
Baby.
just turn and speak very quietly. Like he's gonna look straight ahead actually, but he's gonna do the whole like minor illusion, so it speaks quietly in Fang's ear. And Yuri will just kind of repeat like very simply like, you know, sorry, I'm just wording this in my head. You know, if we close the door in this moment, Fang, we may potentially lead to thousands of sufferings. The choice is up to you. If they tell you what to do, I leave this wholeheartedly in your hands. But you know yourself, you know your heart, and you know the amount of people we can save today. You know what's best for you, Fang. Because I trust you dearly, and so do we.
Fang takes a breath and closes her eyes for a moment to think before like reaching some kind of mental clarity and staring directly back at Stone very calmly.
Yuri will smile at her and then kind of do an additional. He would just say, "There's power, a lot of power in saying no sometimes, Fang, and you deserve that power as much as anyone else."
Hmm.
Now they might. And he's still saying this minor illusion. He'll just say, "Just you know, they probably are going to potentially attack us, but we can. You don't need to worry about attacking her if you don't want to, and we can, we can." I'm trying to say nicely, conquer out, but not kill her. We will disable her if this ends up in a fight. We won't kill her.
I appreciate that, she says very quietly.
Yuri nods and smiles and then faces the others. Well, he never actually stopped facing them, I guess. But, okay.
Fang, it's not a good place to be down here. But since you're down here already, you should join us. All of you should join us as we have your friends help us seal the rift.
My comrades understand better the bad things that come out of using the weapon. And then she like takes a moment and then it's like, all right, I'm talking to elder cousin, and then she just switches to their language.
There,
Elder cousin, you do not know the consequences of the actions that you're about to perform here. It is beyond both our understanding. They speak of multiple planes being affected, and it could start a war of some kind. I don't fully understand, but I urge you to ask them to further explain, for I do not understand the common tongue as well as you do. But it's bad. It sounds very bad. And the storm
Stone.
that is here is not
Oh, go on.
what you think it is. It is much worse.
Stone like nods and listens, letting you speak your piece. I'm impressed that you've come across such interesting and clever friends. Clever, yeah. Interesting and clever friends. And you're right. What's happening out there isn't so simple. And then switches back to common. Myron, the rest of you. You've met our esteemed councilman, Dr. Himron, head of the Necromancer, and apparently you, if I'm correct on my spatial positioning, have probably run into the previous council person of Necromancy. Do any of you think that this person is smart enough to prevent other members of the Octatic Synod through the causeways that we got to the channeling device and coming back up through here to approach the previous head of the necromancy discipline of the synod? Does he read as nearly wise or cautious enough to have prevented us from maybe having a conversation, discovering a little bit about his history with the previous person, or possibly getting some information from them? Does he read like that? Is this the ally that you all choose? I don't blame Fang. Fang's naive. But honestly, you, Shadow Kai, should have been smarter than this. And you should have been smart enough to leave an attempt at a life alone when you stumbled across it. And Stone smiles and is like, it smiles, like smirks a little bit and goes, I believe we have no more need of pretending that I have any concern for the health and well-being of Fang's friends here. You're going to either help us seal this rift, or we are going to execute you where you stand. We also don't need to pretend anymore, my companions, and the six companions shift illusions dropping, major illusions dropping into horned creatures with cloven feet and long black
Oh, the fucking
fingernails,
devils are here already.
and Stone, who doesn't change, it's still little bat goblin creature that she is. Goblin creature. So, are you going to do this willingly, or am I going to have to spend some time with Fang on how to properly mourn your passing?
Can I
And
ask
that
a really
is-
quick question?
Go on.
Because what I was doing, what I DM'd you, could
Yep.
Yuri have basically left the channel on, like, with a finger on a rune so he can hear what's happening here?
Yeah. I am going to.
Yuri does that so the illusionist archmage can hear,
Yeah,
and
like
potentially
what's
I
going
can
on.
see through it. And if
Can
not,
get a judgment on it.
Yuri would literally whisper. Well, I don't know if it's mind magic or is it spoken. Is it spoken or mind?
It's mind.
Okay, Yuri then is actually mentally going to communicate. Basically, he is picturing with his entire essence what's happening in front of him. He is trying to relay, to basically give him a screen of while he's in this moment, like a camera. To the illusionist archmage.
Yes, and so the illusionist is receiving that. What you did went unnoticed because there's no reason that I would send that to you. That I would send that to you, or that they would sense that.
Hicks is gonna look at Stone. Probably like an actual bit of glare on his face. And then just say, "Who of you made the pact with?"
Why
do
would
you
I
have-
reveal that information to you?
So you have made the pact. That's all I needed to know.
Sure.
Oh, having to borrow power.
Damn it.
Must be nice.
Fuck.
They want this. They
As
want this weapon
as-
for themselves.
as Hicks and Stone are kind of talking, Stone just gestures at Nhudrel in general, and one of the devils counterspells your spell, Nhudrel. And it would be at this point that we're going to roll initiative, but that's going to have to wait for next week because we might as well start off with a good combat.
Damn
Oh my
it!
god.
As the villain was always Stone, it was always going to be Stone.
I didn't trust that little shit from the day she was shitty to Fang.
Right? Oh.
I mean, you
Also,
know,
she's a
now
what
bat
you
goblin.
did-
I just didn't trust her from a racial standpoint. Not gonna lie.
Things that were DM'd to me will are affecting this. I would just narrate it in the actual battle thing. But yeah, things that are affecting this. The last scene that you see on poor the amount of guilt and sheepishness and shame on on Myron's face as he didn't think that anyone would be foolish enough to go treat with the former Lich head, the very bad person that he had contained, and realizing, oh, that assumes that there's not other equally as bad people.
I mean,
because again,
Yuri did point out their security here is shocking in this entire establishment.
yeah,
The fact that they just vibing with a lich under the tower, Hicks was like a bit like.
There's
Okay.
another reason for that. He
Okay.
was being honest. There is a reason that he is keeping the Lich alive and not actually killing the Lich, and that's another thing about Myron. So, like, there's a lot going on
I
under
trust
the
him.
hood.
He seems like a good
I don't.
You don't trust anyone, though.
Nope. I don't trust any of you weird motherfuckers.
But yeah, that is where we're gonna break. We will be back next week for another another conflict, and we'll just emotionally scar poor Fang repeatedly with this
Poor Fang.
with this person. The journey is strong, but nonetheless, who we raiding?
So I was going through like a lot of other people who are currently live, and there's a few of them, surprisingly, at this hour. But there is the Dice Legends who are currently playing Dungeons and Dragons. So I figured it would be nice to go from Dungeons and Dragons to Dungeons and Dragons. And I've never raided them successfully before.
D&D to D&D.
Yeah. Last time I tried to raid them, they went off just as I raided them, and I'm like, God damn it. So, yeah, it'll be nice to raid them while they're still alive. Sorry?
Sorry.
But nonetheless, thank you all in the chat for joining us. Go be kind in this other channel's chat, in Dice Legends chat. And we'll see you next week.
Yes, if you want to see the offline streams, the sessions are all up on YouTube now. Thank you, Steve. But yeah, we'll see you next week.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
Bye.